The last time the LSU Tigers came to the state of Alabama, they played the Crimson Tide, who are unbeaten in 31 games. The longest streak in the nation at the time and the best ever in the SEC. But the Tigers shattered Bama's hopes to make more history by upsetting them in Tuscaloosa. Now LSU makes a return visit, this time Auburn, owners of the current longest streak, 13. Curly Hallman hopes 13 is a good omen for his Tigers. But Terry Bowden's Tigers look to keep the streak alive. He's undefeated at Auburn as he leads the Tigers in their SEC home opener. Jordan-Hare Stadium will be full of blue and orange. All eyes on the Plains. LSU and Auburn next.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the best in college football.
It's been raining since Friday morning, but it's holding off a little bit, it seems. Welcome to a muggy and wet Jordan-Hare Stadium college football Saturday. It's the Tigers all over the place, Auburn and LSU today. We needed some help in the secondary, so we brought Tim Foley back. Nice to have you back, buddy.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
And the wet track, will it be able to stop the speed of LSU today?
Yeah. I think Jamie Howard, a quarterback, has been impressive, showing some positive signs of maturing as a QB, but the really dramatic part of this LSU offense is speed. You've got Robert Toomer and Jermaine Sharp coming out of the backfield, Eddie Kennison, Brett Besh. You've got Eric Smith, and they're going to try to spread out a powerful powerful Auburn defense with formations to try to create seams, I think.
Now, Auburn's got some exciting speed on offense as well. Stephen Davis, the tailback, they're really waiting for him to explode.
Well, look at Auburn's offense works like this. Patrick Nick's going to turn around, flip the ball to Stephen Davis, and he isn't going to jig, slice, or slash. He's going to smash over right tackle behind a really impressive Auburn line.
And their defense is very difficult to run against. They've only given up 31 yards against the run their first two games. They have been outstanding. So here at Jordan-Hare today, it's LSU looking for the upset. They had so many big plays on defense at Bama last year when they upset the Tide. And Auburn looking to keep that streak going. They're after 14 in a row. Bob Kessling downstairs in the kickoff. Welcome back to Jordan-Hare Stadium. 80,000 plus on hand today. And Bob Kessling, it's something Terry Bowden will have to live with week to week. That streak eventually has to come to an end.
It's 13 today, and Terry Bowden tries to extend it here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And of course, LSU is very confident about this game. Remember, last year they went to Tuscaloosa and knocked off an Alabama team that won 31 games unbeaten. Terry Bowden, we had a chance to talk with him about that and the streak.
You know, it's not the kind of streak that has pressure. It's not a 47-game winning streak. It's the kind of streak that we like to use as a motivator. Hey, we don't have a championship to look at or a conference to look at, but we can be the winningest team in America one more week if we can win this game.
So the Tigers try and keep it going today. Bob, we can tell you that the field was not covered last night. However, it's a sand field, so they say it can take 2 or 3 inches of rain before it starts getting sloppy. So running the footing down here is not bad.
And they say the forecast is for 70% for more showers sometime during the game this afternoon. 76 degrees. It's very muggy. LSU's Eddie Kennison and David Butler back to receive the kickoff. Auburn won the toss. They deferred. LSU will receive the football, and Matt Hawkins will be the kickoff man. And there's Eddie Kennison, who broke the 100-yard punt return last week. He's averaging 14 on kickoff returns. Matt Hawkins, a junior out of Pensacola. And the ball has been kicked to Eddie Kennison on the near side, 2 yards deep. He'll try straight up the right side. He'll break a couple tackles, and he'll angle out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. We'll see the multiple offensive LSU with Jamie Howard, the junior. His coming out party was 2 years ago to the day, right on this field. And he's been outstanding for the Bayou Bengals ever since. He's got a good tailback in Jermaine Sharp, Andre Guerin, a good blocking fullback. Kennison and Besh are threats, and David LaFleur is a huge tight end. Up front, they replace Kevin Mawe at center. They only have one returning starter who started Marcus Price all 11 games last year. And some play action on first down. Howard up the middle. Eddie Kennison, the intended receiver. The ball too tall for him. Del McGee on that field cornerback side was with him step for step. Jamie Howard a lot more mature 2 years later, Tim Foley.
Exactly. And Lynn Amity starts out the game with a play that Northeast Louisiana used against Auburn last week. Curling over the middle, then trying to hit it deep down the middle. They felt like they had a chance to hit some down the field.
Single back set on 2nd and 10. Crowd making a lot of noise. And now Jamie Howard has to change the play. And we've got a flag and whistles. Some debris on the field, a lot of noise, and some movement on the offensive line.
False start, right tackle, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Auburn plays a 4-3 defense with Whitehead and Etheridge at the ends, and Mike Pelton, defensive player of the week in the league 2 weeks ago, and Gary Walker. Outstanding defense. They're missing Derek Robinson, a middle linebacker who's out for the season after knee surgery. 2nd down and 15. There's Sharp getting outside. He's across the 40-yard line all the way out to near the 43, and that'll be a first down for LSU. Jermaine Sharp is averaging 5.6 yards a carry.
Let's look at it here. They get the ball to him deep, and he's got the quickness to cut back. Walker can't get back off the block. LaFleur got a good cutoff block on the linebacker. Now Sharp's off and running.
Yeah, 20 yards worth. They'll actually pull the ball back to the 41, and he'll be up around 190 yards in a hurry. First down for the Tigers. Sharp gets the call again. Nowhere to go. Closing on him was Willie Whitehead with help from Gary Walker. Tigers giving up 31 yards a game on the ground. Last year when they went 11-0, they gave up only 128 per game. So that's how outstanding they've been the first 2 weeks.
And as we mentioned in the open, the idea for LSU, they've got so much speed, as you see Curly Hallman, much better off after 2 games this year than he has been in his 4-year career at LSU. Feeling very good about this football team and the talent that it has.
2nd down and 9. Kennison, the motion man. Play action to Sharp up the left side, and the ball is caught by the very dependable Brett Besh. That's a first down for LSU. If you get the ball anywhere near number 87, he'll catch it. That's his 8th catch of the season. He had 3 for 58 yards against Mississippi State last week. Terry Bowden in his 2nd year. He's 13-0. He says, hey, it's no big deal that I've won 13 in a row. As a college coach, I lost my first 7.
And Terry's done a remarkable job here. Put together a good staff, kept some of Pat Dye's people, and brought some of his own in. Tommy, his brother, coordinating the offense. They've got a real family here now.
First down at the 42. Sharp with a big hole. And he'll get about 3 or 4.
Sean Wells, number 74, the LSU left offensive tackle, and Mark King are doing a good job up front. Auburn's ends seem to be penetrating upfield, and Wells is doing a good job blocking them out, just walling them off, and Sharp has taken that backside gap.
Sean Wells out of Jenks, Oklahoma, 6'4", 285, just a sophomore. 2nd down and 7 at the 39. A single back with a wingman, Andre Guerin. Sharp slipped, got his feet back, and almost had a first down. It required a tackle from the boundary cornerback, Chris Schelling. Jermaine Sharp, a breakaway threat. A couple of touchdowns this year. He had a long of 34 last week against Mississippi State. Looks like on 3rd and short, he'll get a breather.
You know, they lost their number 1 fullback, LSU did, due to a disc problem. Stelly is out. Yep, and now Guerin's in there at fullback.
Kennison, the motion man. Robert Toomer has the pitch. and he's got the first down. Toomer's the most versatile running back on LSU's team. He backs up at tailback and fullback, a 5'10", 212 junior.
And he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. Nice job there by 62 Mark King. Both these teams have receivers that will block downfield too. You'll see all these outside receivers getting involved in the run by blocking.
First down at the Auburn 30. Shedrick Wilson, the man in motion that time. Sharp, and he's taken down for a loss. Anthony Harris, the strong side linebacker. He leads the team in tackles. He's got 25 now on the season, and that's number 221 of his career.
It's probably the best linebacker that Auburn has. That time, Sharp tries to take it inside to draw people in. He's looking for the outside. He's looking for the perimeter. And that's twice in a row that Jermaine seemed to have a little bit of trouble maintaining possession of the football.
Almost had it slip out. A loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and 12. The fake to Sharp, and forget it. Raymond Luster on the quarterback sack.
They're dragging their big tight end across the field. It's Shedrick Wilson running a deep corner route, and he was coming open, but before he came open, the door shut on Jamie Howard.
Might have had a face mask on the play.
Incidental face mask on the defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, still 2nd down.
Ron Gilbert running the crew today. Bobby Gaston sending 7 of his best down here to Auburn for this big conference game. Auburn has a conference win 2 weeks ago at Ole Miss, 22-17. They beat the Rebels. That'll make it 2nd down and 7. And Curly Holman's team, of course, got the win over Mississippi State 44-24 last week.
Auburn's put 5 defensive backs in the game. Fred Smith has come in.
2nd and 7. And Howard is sacked back at the 32-yard line. And Mike Pelton, with his 3rd sack of the year, was the first man there. We saw him have a monster game in Oxford, Mississippi 2 weeks ago.
Pelton used to be a linebacker. He backed up James Willis, and then he kept getting bigger and bigger. And so Wayne Hall decided to put him down. And they might have to get Jamie Howard on the move a little bit. Auburn has a tremendous pass rush.
LSU on 3rd down this year, 41%. They've gone 3rd and long with 3 wide receivers and a shotgun. And the ball is caught down around the 21-yard line. Fred Smith, the cornerback, tackling Eddie Kennison, but he ran a pattern that was too short to get the first down.
And one of the real assets of Auburn's defense, Bob, has, Wayne Hall is one of the best defensive line coaches in the SEC, and they've always been able to generate enough pressure with 4 and 5 guys that other teams need 6 and 7 guys to create. And so there's Wayne right there with the hat on, a defensive coordinator.
Andre LaFleur for the field goal. It'll be about a 38-yarder. He's only 1 of 3 so far, and that one was deflected. Auburn's defense on special teams comes up big. We're back after this from your local stations. We think it was number 50, Mike Pelton, who came up the middle to block the field goal.
Great penetration and big play by Pelton.
Now the Auburn offense out of that pro eye, going to work for the first time. Nix a drop to set up the screen. He's got some company out on the right side. That is Harold Morrow. And he's down to the 46-yard line.
Young made the tackle downfield, but just an excellent job of execution. And the Bowden boys, they like to start things off with a play pass, get folks pulled back a little bit, and they certainly made that one work. Calais tried to get there, but he was late.
33 yards on the first play of the game for the Auburn Tigers. Quick give to the fullback inside. That's number 5, Joe Frazier. Morrow, the man who backs him up. And you've got Frazier back there with Stephen Davis, Patrick Nix, some good skilled people, and Sanders, Fuller, and Bailey. And then up front, on the split side and the tight side, they call him, Shannon Robique has been outstanding, all SEC last year when he started 11 games. All SEC freshman team was Willie Anderson, the tight tackle who plays on that right side. And the numbers for Patrick Nix as the Stan White era is a thing of the past here. And that ball delivered too low to Harold Morrow, number 12.
You know, why not? It worked one way. Let's try it the other side.
4-3 defense. The Tigers of LSU lost 3 starters from that defense. 4 good guys up front. Mike Calais leads the linebackers with Stansbury and Rogers flanking him. And they've got a veteran secondary with the likes of Gary Pegues and Ivory Hilliard, who had the huge game at Alabama last year.
James and Young on the corners are good, solid, steady performance.
Shotgun on 3rd and 7. Nix quickly to the right boundary. And trying to wrestle him down was Rodney Young. It depends on where they mark him out of bounds. Tyrone Goodson out there on the pattern. And you can hear 80,000 shouting go.
Offensive line is really a strength for these Auburn Tigers. They had to replace 2 tackles, Anthony Redmond and Wayne Gandy. Gandy playing in the NFL now.
Well, I see Jesse McCovery going out there to block. He had his arms pumping in the air. Yeah, we're going for it on 4th and 1. Quarterback Nix will go straight ahead. I think the surge got him there. Obviously, Torrey James and some of the other LSU players disagree. It looked like Nix had enough forward momentum to get the yard they needed. We'll see where they mark it. That is very close.
I don't think he got it based on
where it's sitting right now, Tim. Based on where they marked it, he is short.
We're going to see if our official evaluation of this from across the field and 50 rows up is accurate. Oh!
LSU holding. So each team's defense does a great job. We've played 8 minutes of the first quarter, and the game is still scoreless here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Nothing happening offensively so far. A blocked field goal and a hold on 4th down. We're back after this from your local stations. 8 minutes into the first quarter, no score. Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. Bob Carpenter and Tim Foley on what's turning into a hot and sunny afternoon now after all the rain we've had. Looks like the field, at least early, is holding up well. LSU has split the backs. Jamie Howard with time out to the left flat, and it's out of the arms of Eddie Kennison. We saw a lot of extra people in that offense that time, Tim. We saw Chris Hill. We saw Kevin Franklin. And let's check in downstairs with our guy, Bob Kessler.
Okay, Bob, thanks a lot. Lynn Amity, the offensive coordinator of LSU, scripts the first 15 plays for his Tigers. Of course, their first drive, very effective, moving down the field. They're at play number 12, so they got 3 left on the script, and we'll see what they do after those 3 plays.
Auburn in the game with 5 defensive backs. LSU 4 wide receivers, and Franklin, a receiver, coming out of the backfield.
And no tight end. 2nd down and 10. And right through there is the sophomore from Baton Rouge Catholic High School, Kevin Franklin, who was an All-American, ran for 46 touchdowns in his high school career there. Tailback and flanker last season. The '94 SEC championship game is quickly approaching a sellout. December 3rd at the Georgia Dome. Ticket information at 1-800-732-4849. Championship game goes indoors for the first time this year. And here's another third down for LSU. 3rd and 7. Howard will roll right. And on the run, delivered a little low for Chris Hill.
Good job by Willie Whitehead. Robert Toomer tried to cut him, tried to get him on the ground, but I think he provided enough pressure that it distracted Jamie Howard. As he rolls to the right, Amity and Hallman trying to move the pocket around to try to give those LSU linemen a break, and Howard just can't get it out to Chris Hill. Good defense.
The punter is Chad Kessler. They share the punting duties with Kessler and redshirt freshman Mark Walker. Kessler averaging 38 yards a kick so far. He's had a long of 52 this year. Hangs this one up pretty well. Back at the 22-yard line, Thomas Bailey didn't have much room to operate. Good coverage by LSU. A 38-yard kick and no return. Bobby Williams on the tackle with some help from number 44, Kamoja Brooks, the linebacker. Real battle of the bands here today. Auburn's band is out in full force, as well as that marching band from Tigerland. The guy is from Baton Rouge. No score. Just about 9 minutes into the first quarter now. And Auburn will take over at its own 22-yard line. Damian Craig is the quarterback. Yeah, he's the backup, but Terry Bowden likes to get him out there in some situations. This guy can create some real excitement. And the handoff for Stephen Davis. He'll bust out near the 25. Alan Stansberry from strong side linebacker the stop. And Damian out of Pritchard, Alabama, redshirt freshman, will check out. They say look out for this guy in the future. He can really make some things happen.
And this is something that Terry Bowden does. He'll substitute an inexperienced player or a player who is trying to get experience on the first play. Talk to him about all the situations. Let him get the play out of the way, then bring him out of the game.
Yeah, and then the veteran gets to inherit the 2nd and 7. And he will do it pitching to Davis. Nice cut. He's across the 40-yard line as he made a cut back against the grain. David Carmona, the right tackle, had to chase him downfield with help from the defensive end, Gabe Northern, to make the stop.
Northern's upfield here, tries to bring down Stephen Davis, but Gabe, it's going to take more than that, man. You're going to need a handle on him. He's a big hoss, and he can keep it going.
14 yards on that play. First down at the 39. Ball is just short of the 39, actually. Nix, and then the end around to Goodson. Trying to get outside. Can't quite turn the corner. Rodney Young was out there along with Alan Stansberry, 43 and 42, as they snuffed it out pretty well.
Well, Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for LSU, and Lee Fildes, the defensive end coach, got to be happy with their charges here. Gilliard stays at home, at least forces it deep as Stansberry and Young take him out of bounds. But when you're playing a Bowden coach team, any team that's coached by a guy named Bowden, there's Phil Bennett, you're going to be ready for reverses, trick plays. I mean, they're not going to make a living on them, but they're going to come at some point in time.
2nd and 11 at the 38. 3 wide receivers after they lost a yard on the end around. Nix alone in the backfield. To the near side. Similar pattern that they ran earlier, trying to get the first down to Tyrone Goodson. Rodney Young, the left corner, on the coverage.
Phil Bennett a little bit upset, thought he stepped out of bounds.
That'll make it 3rd and maybe a yard and a half. Tyrone Goodson, the redshirt freshman from Brooksville, Florida. He's caught 7 balls now, including 2 this afternoon.
This short yardage situation, they got Joe Frazier in the game. At fullback, Stephen Davis. There won't be a quarterback sneak this time.
They'll call it 3rd and a short 2. How short can it be when this guy's running? And Davis has it to midfield before his forward motion is stopped. The ball is on the turf, and LSU has recovered. Auburn folks are going to think that play should have been whistled dead. Looked like Pat Rogers recovered the fumble.
side of this Auburn line does an excellent job creating the hole. Frazier leads up through it. Steve Davis breaks one tackle. Runs into Ivory Hilliard, and Hilliard starts working on the ball. Rodney Young pushing him back. And
hey, Tim, if they're not going to blow that whistle right away, start working that ball, and that's what Ivory did.
You bet.
Big turnover. Just when Auburn was starting to head into LSU territory, and now the Tigers from Baton Rouge have it with 3:55 to go, first quarter. Jamie Howard out of the eye. He'll look for Brett Besh. He wants to throw the ball. Kennison out of bounds.
Good throw by Brett Besh. Nice catch by Kennison, but an excellent job by Chris Schelling staying at home. Number 4 for Auburn. I would always bite on this. They could have this anytime on me. They could tell me it was coming. I'd still get beat on it. But you notice Schelling stayed right with the wide receiver Eddie Kennison. Both these teams are extremely well prepared and well coached fundamentally.
I guess we're going to have to call Don Shula and ask him if that's really true.
They ran that on me in the Pro Bowl.
Second down at the 50. Howard double pump, and he overthrew his tight end David LaFleur. And David had some room to work with out there.
It's especially difficult, I think, for the LSU secondary because you have to be involved in the from a secondary standpoint, and Curly Hallman knows this. You got to be involved in a run game to stop Auburn. You're not going to stop them with 7 guys. You have to be involved, get your secondary involved in it, but you don't want to weaken the coverage because they do have superior receivers that you're going to be concerned about too.
2 completions so far. A lot of wide receivers in this pattern on 3rd and 10 from midfield. And we've got flags.
Movement. Ball start. Interior lineman. Offense. Still 3rd down.
So it becomes 3rd and 15.
Auburn once again with 5 defensive backs. Wayne Hall substituting liberally up front. Andre Miller just came out. Willie Whitehead back in. Scott Stacy back in the football game. They always want some fresh horses up front to put the pressure on Jamie Howard.
3rd down and 15 back at the LSU 45. And now it appears the LSU Tigers have called a timeout. 3:39 to go. First quarter, no score in Auburn. And return after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts. No score here. LSU against Auburn. Auburn looking very good so far this year, and Curly Hallman knows all about it.
Playing against an Auburn football team that's won 13 in a row, and they're doing a lot of things right now that makes you think that they almost look like they're in mid-season form. So we got to be, the old expression, almost picture perfect today to have a chance of beating this outstanding team.
Well, his defense has been pretty good. His offense has kept the ball for a while. On their first drive, they had it better than 6.5 minutes, and they've got the big edge right now, but it's 3rd and 15. And we got another flag. LSU likes to rotate a lot of people in and out of that offensive line, Tim, so the same 5 guys aren't out there all the time. LSU hasn't been able to do
Ball
that.
before the snap. Ball start on the offense. Defensive man did not get in the neutral zone. Still 3rd.
Yeah, Marcus Price pulled up here. It's been a kind of a trademark of Curly Hallman. He likes to substitute the whole line. And so all 5 guys are working together. And as you mentioned, in the last few years, he hasn't had enough players to make that happen. But he certainly did make it happen against Mississippi State. Actually, their first 2 scores were when the second line was in there.
3rd down and 20. Auburn coming hard. Howard, and he throws one below and behind Eric Smith. Jamie has not thrown the ball that well under pressure so far. And the Tigers of LSU will have to kick the football.
Easy for us to say.
Correct.
He was trying to throw out of a forest. But this time it opens up. Lane opens up, but he's on the move, and there was nothing home there.
Chad Kessler to kick it. Thomas Bailey, the senior wide receiver, back at his own 22. Kessler with 38 yards through the air first time. And he just did get it away. That ball was almost blocked by Auburn's Kelsey Crook. And Auburn will come out of it okay. 30 on the kick. Our Nationwide Insurance SEC Scholar Athlete of the Week, Michael Blanchard of the LSU Tigers offensive line, the senior center, a pre-med major, a maintaining 4.0 GPA. Michael Blanchard of the LSU Tigers, our Nationwide Insurance SEC Scholar Athlete of the Week.
And he's a starting center here this afternoon. So
Damian Craig again on first down, the Auburn quarterback. 3:22 to go. First quarter. Feeling his way through, then powering his way through, Stephen Davis. He'll get about 10 on first down. It took the strong safety to ride him down, Gary Pegues.
With Mike Calais, number 56. Stansberry, 43. Nice block by Morrow, keeping him out of there. Torrey James, hold on, Torrey, and Pegues comes along to finish him off. But, you know, Davis has that style of running, kind of like a Herschel Walker style or a George Rogers style. He's a big guy. He's not a little scat back. And sometimes it doesn't look like much is happening, but all of a sudden it's 2nd and 3.
Hey, if you're trying to tackle him, there's plenty happening. And he got the first down. Davis had 5,425 all-purpose yards in high school. Spartanburg, South Carolina, former USA Today Offensive Player of the Year, averaging 7 a carry today. He came in at 4.7. And Tim, a lot of people feel his average should be much bigger than that. 55 is Chuck Wiley as Patrick Nix is back in there running the Auburn offense. When in doubt, give it to 48. Mike Calais, the middle linebacker from Dalton Hilliard's hometown of Patterson, Louisiana, making the stop.
Stephen Davis running in there behind Shannon Robique and Leonard Thomas. Jason Taylor on the inside.
There's Mike
Calais.
Yeah, they lost Robert Deshotel from one of those linebacker spots. We're happy to report that he's doing okay after his auto accident early this year, and he'll be back as a senior next year after taking a red shirt. And not much there for Harold Morrow. Next week, we're heading for Starkville to see those Tennessee Volunteers. What'll they have left after the Gators take them on in Knoxville later on today? That's next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central on most of these SEC stations. Bulldog and Volunteer flags are flying high here in Auburn today. Tennessee 1-1, ranked number 15 in the nation. And there's a little shovel pass ahead for Stephen Davis. He's got the first down. And he's down near the 45 of LSU before Mike Calais rides him down.
Nice job here. A little shovel pass. See Jason Taylor turning upfield. Alan Stansberry has a chance to make it. Rodney Young sticks an arm out. Last week against Mississippi State, the tackling by the LSU secondary was just superior. There weren't any missed tackles, and they were trying to bring down a big guy there, Michael Davis. And they got to get their head in there and grab something to bring down this big truck.
First down, 4 wide receivers, a shotgun, and a swing pass out to the left side. Fred Beasley. And we've got a flag at the 44-yard line. There was some scraping going on out there between Frank Sanders of Auburn and Alan Stansberry of LSU.
Well, it looks like they're going to call a clip on, they call it holding on Frank Sanders.
Well, we told you earlier how these receivers love to get downfield and hit people. Usually they don't hold on, though.
Illegal block in the back. On the offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot of the foul. Still first down.
Obviously, Terry Bowden didn't agree with that call. You can see it here. Nix does an excellent job of getting rid of the ball to Beasley, and here it comes right here. And from that angle, it certainly didn't look like a clip.
I thought he got him on the inside of the shoulder, as opposed to the back of the shoulder.
Yeah, I thought it was a good block. But our opinion is irrelevant.
For once, Foley's in favor of the offensive player out there. It's amazing.
And the receiver at that.
That's right. 1st and 20. And a swing out to the right side. Fred Beasley again. Rodney Young from left corner, riding him out of bounds. We'll check in early on our Jefferson Pilots scoreline. Look what Penn State is doing to Iowa after what they did to USC last week, and the Buckeyes of Ohio State on top of Johnny Majors and Pitt first quarter. For the latest college football scores, 1-900-267-5757. $1 a minute for the latest in college football. You must be 18.
Roy Malcolm coming in at running back, replacing Beasley. Joe Frazier back in at fullback.
2nd and 17. Nick sends everybody forward. Looking up top. Good coverage back there. Down the left sideline, it was Torrey James with Frank Sanders, and no problem really for the right cornerback. Torrey's picked off a pass, went 24 yards for a touchdown after a pickoff 2 weeks ago against Texas A&M. LSU played A&M very tough, only lost by 5, 18-13, and A&M then turned around and beat a pretty good Oklahoma team very soundly the following week.
And the thing that impressed Curly Hallman about that was that, you know, they had fallen behind 9-0, and in the past they had tended to get nervous in those situations, but they came back and took the lead 13-9 and had a couple opportunities to win the game.
4 receivers on 3rd and 17. Up the middle they go. The ball is thrown behind Frank Sanders. They're here at all ages and all stages with their orange and blue. As we've got 16 seconds to go at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. No score. It's been a tough, hard-fought first quarter of play.
You got an all-American punter here in Terry Daniel, and what's going to be an all-American return man in Eddie Kennison. This is a good matchup.
Ooh, he hangs this one up. Now let's check the bounce into the end zone.
Eddie didn't get close to it this time, I noticed.
52-yard kick. Terry Daniel already has 2 kicks this year of better than 60 yards. Came in averaging 48 yards. He had a 62-yarder against Northeast Louisiana a week ago. And here's Eddie Kennison doing his thing last week.
Now he picks up the punt on the half-yard line, retreats into the end zone, and right now he's saying, I got to get out of here. They're going to kill me for doing this. And the great blocking, a wonderful block by Pat Rogers right there at the end, and there it is, 100 yards. Burt Retchichar did it in 52.
3rd SEC player to ever do it. Robert Toomer on first down. And he was wrapped up by Brian Robinson, the free safety. Tim, according to the fundamentals of football, you're not supposed to return a punt 100 yards.
No, it's never going to happen twice.
First quarter comes to a close in Auburn. No score. Tigers. War Eagle, the battle cry here at Auburn, Alabama. Mascot of the Auburn Tigers. Well, there's a picture of Aubie. One of the great settings for college football, and we're awfully glad to be back here. It's been a long 2 years. 3 wide receivers for LSU. 2nd down and 9 at their own 21. Robert Toomer, forget it! Gary Walker wrapped him up in a hurry.
Number 96, Gary Walker, takes the inside, fights his way through upfield, keeps his feet, and then Whitehead is there to help. Looked like Miskett jumped on top. The first quarter stats.
And a look at our Lee Apparel first quarter numbers, and LSU almost with as much yardage on the ground as Auburn's been giving up the entire game lately. Here's a 3rd down and 12. Howard has to unload it. Toomer, and forget it, the ball is fumbled in the backfield. Auburn is all over it, or is it just an incomplete pass?
Saying incomplete pass.
Pass was never controlled. Fred Smith was all over Robert Toomer in the backfield.
That's number 6, Freddie Smith. Now here's a guy that was a freshman All-American, started 22 games for Auburn. And that was right in the middle.
That's
Auburn, they're not getting any breaks here. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he definitely had control for a little while anyway. Thomas Bailey back to receive the kick. Chad Kessler needs a boomer here. Auburn should come out of this with great field position. To the 49. Can he get around the corner? Too many LSU Tigers waiting for him. Not much there for Thomas Bailey, who's averaging only 4 per return this year. Didn't get anything there after a 32-yard kick.
That young man right there is the only man in SEC history that has had over 1,000 yards of returns in one season. And he is tracking some of the career return records also. So he's trying to squeeze every yard he can out of every return.
And the field is holding up very well after, probably the better part of an inch of rain over the last 24 hours. First down at the 48. Nix fakes a handoff. Rifles one out to the right side. Frank Sanders finally grabbing a hold of one. He's number 9 in receptions, number 8 in yardage on the all-time Auburn list. And he's on the Biletnikoff list as the nation's top receiver this year.
Nice route by Sanders. He drove down on Young and then came back well for the ball. Nix put it right on the money.
3rd in the league last year with 48 receptions. 8 yards on first down, 2nd and 2. Davis. First down. Then he's bent in all kind of directions by 3 LSU defenders. Gabe Northern and Mike Calais were the first 2 to get there. Calais very active, number 56, playing that middle linebacker spot in this 4-3 defense.
Good movement by Calais and a nice job by Northern forcing it deep. And even though he lost containment on it, he forced it deep enough that Calais was able to get there and help him make the stop.
Started 11 games as a freshman last year and made the all-league freshman team. Had a high game of 14 tackles when they took on Arkansas. That was a very disappointing game for LSU. They would have gone to the Carquest Bowl had they beaten Arkansas the last game of the year. Look at the surge! Oh! Stephen Davis! Gary Pegues finally made the tackle after Davis carried a bayou full of Bengals about 10 yards with him.
We got Jason Taylor running ahead of him here, the guard. You see there? Working on Stansberry. And Gary Pegues comes out to about the bottom of the 8. Gary isn't the most dominant player in the SEC in terms of size. He's a little scrapper, but he had enough scrap that time to hang on.
First down at the 27. And a little swinger out to the right side. They're lucky that wasn't picked off. Davis, the intended receiver, and Rodney Young, the left corner, was closing fast.
Well, Curly Hallman has fought his way through the tough times and feels like things are turned around and headed in the right direction at LSU. Certainly has now corralled enough talent, I think, to compete. One of the talented players he has is Rodney Young.
And that defense still hasn't given up a first-quarter touchdown since the Ole Miss game last year. 2nd down at the 27 for Auburn. Nix is flushed out of there, but he's got some room to run. And he will wisely get out of bounds at the 23. It'll still leave them with third down, about 5.5, maybe 6 yards to go. Kenny Mixon, the man who flushed him out of there. Mixon, a redshirt freshman who backs up James Gilliard at left end.
And Nix is doing a good job. I mean, he watched Stan White play for a couple of years and played very sparingly, then came in against Alabama and threw a 35-yard touchdown and was the hero of that game and been very dependable so far this year.
3rd and 6. And the ball delivered low and outside to Tyrone Goodson. So a possible field goal attempt coming up for Auburn. Matt Hawkins is their place kicker. He's 3 for 3 this year. A junior out of Pensacola. Patrick Sullivan is the holder. Brian Brinsfield, who's been perfect for 3.5 years, is the snapper.
3.5 years, not a bad snap. I mean, that's amazing.
350 snaps. A 40-yarder from the near hash, and it's perfect. With 11:49 to go in the second quarter, Auburn is on the board, and those are the first points of the game. On the field goal, Tigers of Auburn 3. LSU gets the football back when we come back. 40-yard field goal by Matt Hawkins, and Auburn leads at 3-0. Just short of 12 minutes to go in the first half. Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley, Bob Kessling, our Jefferson Pilot crew here in Auburn, Alabama. Hawkins will kick it. Eddie Kennison and David Butler, the men waiting for it. Just over 2 minutes on that short field goal drop. And there's the little short kick. And after signaling fair catch, Casey Howard had to pick up his own fumble. Terry Bowden told us that we'd see a lot of pooch kicks. Sun kicks, he called them, with Eddie Kennison back there, but there's no sun today, so we'll just call it a cloud kick.
And that one almost worked. I mean, anytime you can keep the ball out of Eddie Kennison's hands, that's a good decision.
Jamie Howard and the LSU Fighting Tigers back to work. Down by 3 at their own 25. Pitch to Shine. Oh, there's Tigers from Auburn everywhere. A host of Auburn defenders. Marcellus Mostello, the first man out there. Then Darrell Riggins, a free safety.
Now, Mostello did a great job of fighting out the block of David LaFleur, number 47. See those guys working at it? Mostello shakes him loose, takes on the block of Guerin, and is in on the tackle.
LSU on the first drive of the day, they had 52 yards. Since then, -8. And lost a yard on that play. Shedrick Wilson, the motion man. Howard will roll that way. And it's too low for Shedrick. The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Nice to have Tim Foley back.
Well, thank you very much. Enjoyed watching you and David.
Yeah, we had a couple of good ball games.
Oh, great games.
Vandy gave Bama all they wanted last week. Here, neither team's been very good on third down. This time it's 3rd and 11. Howard straight ahead.
Oh, no.
And Brett Bush. He will score. A 66-yarder for LSU.
I think it was Robinson that made a move on the ball and looked like he was going to intercept it. Tipped the ball. ball, and what concentration by Brett Besh. He guns this downfield. Robinson can't get around to make the play on it, and Besh is there to catch the tip ball. Chris Schelling chases him into the end zone.
Andre LaFleur for the point after. LSU has shocked the big crowd here in Auburn. And the Tigers from Baton Rouge will lead it 7-3. And that play was a minute 1 after the field goal. So LSU is on top 7-3 with a big, long touchdown pass. LSU shocking Auburn. Bob Kessling, it's now a 7-3 Tiger lead.
There you see an official down on the bench. And he was in the way of an Auburn defender who was pursuing Brett Besh, and I don't think the Auburn young man saw him and ran him over, and now they have him on the sideline. Bob Kessling is moving in that direction. I'm sure he'll fill us in on this.
Ted Thomas, who is down. So right now they're going to go with one official short. There is of course, a red cap and a clock operator, so they're trying to make the decision whether or not Ted can come back.
Ted Thomas, the back judge.
But they're working on Ted Thomas right now.
And this kickoff well into the end zone. I don't think Frank Sanders wants anything to do with that one. Thomas Bailey tells him, let's take it at the 20 and see if we can find a big play. A 76-yard touchdown pass from Jamie Howard, deflected into the hands of Brett Besh. Besh comes up with a new career-long reception on that short touchdown drive and scores his second touchdown of the year. 6th of his career.
Got a 40-yarder against MSU, and I think that extends his games with a catch to 14. That streak is now at 14, right?
Yes, sir. Ironically, in a game where Auburn's trying to win its 14th in a row. There's a pitch. Stephen Davis. And he slipped, or he would have had a bunch more.
When I'm talking about getting the defensive backs, the secondary involved in containment, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's nobody here for primary contain. It's a good job by Andy Fuller hooking the defensive end. He runs around Stansberry, and the defensive back has to get up there. You see Sanders doing a good job keeping Rodney Young out of the play.
Yeah, then he became part of the play when Davis barreled into him.
Well, this is what I get for trying to help you.
That's right. It's 2nd and 2. Do a lot of things with this situation. They choose to pitch it. And he breaks it. His helmet flies off as he's out to the 38-yard line. Stephen Davis. 6'2", 223, tough to stop.
Gilliard upfield. See Rogers fly through there. Calais can't hold on. Good hit by Rodney Young. He needs to get another chin strap.
There's the injured official, Ted Thomas. We're told that he separated his shoulder. First down, Auburn at their own 38. And a quick hit to the fullback, Harold Morrow. And right there to say hello is Alan Stansberry. He's just a sophomore out of Broadmoor High School in Baton Rouge. He had 8 tackles against A&M 2 weeks ago.
Now, I think Calais might have hurt his shoulder or his arm on the last play in attempting to tackle Davis, because you saw Brooks in there, number 44. Nice play by Stansberry, staying at home. So if something happened to Mike Calais, that would really be damaging, because he is one of the major organs of this defense as far as that goes.
24-second clock on the field is off, so the officials will keep it on their watches. And a breather for Mike Calais.
Looked like he was having trouble raising his arm as he came up after trying to tackle Stephen Davis.
This is a 2nd and 12 play, and here they come. There goes the screen, and never having time to get out there was Stephen Davis, and he was making a lot of contact, trying to weave his way through all that traffic. Kamosha Brooks on some of the good quarterback pressure.
And I don't know what Bobby Gadsden's number is, who is in charge of the SEC officials, but Terry Bowden's going to have it as soon as this game's over, and he's going to be punching it in. Because that time it looked as though the man that was trying to get out into the screen was held up or grabbed.
Which is the only way you can stop Stephen Davis. Even if he doesn't have the football.
Phil Bennett's Chargers are playing well.
3rd down and 12. Back circle out of there. Badly thrown ball. As Nix put it way up over the top of the left shoulder of Harold Morrow. Eric Valentino was providing some quarterback pressure.
Good throw by Nix. Good decision. LSU has made the adjustment to that particular play, so that one's not going to work anymore. They're running on that. They've seen that enough. They got hurt with it enough. Nix comes out. He looks out there, and at the last minute, he sees these boys coming, and so he throws it over his head. It would have been a loss if it had been a completion. So good adjustment by the LSU secondary.
Let's see where Terry Daniel puts the punt. High in the air, backing up Kennison to his 16. Gets away from one man, and he's tumbling as the second goes down, and we've got a flag laying at the 19-yard line. Joe Frazier on special teams with the tackle. A 49-yard kick by Terry Daniel.
That's Brinsfield. That's the snapper.
He came into this game with 353 consecutive perfect snaps.
I was talking to him at practice on Thursday, and he said the last time he had a bad snap was when he was in 10th grade. And the coach yelled at him. He didn't like it, so he decided he wasn't going to do that anymore. But, I mean, you don't know how valuable this guy is to a guy like this is to a coach's sound sleep. I mean, because you just don't have to worry about it here at Auburn. They don't let him practice. They don't let him do anything because they're afraid of getting him hurt. And he is still down out on the field.
He took a high hit on the punt coverage team, and he's down. Has been for a while. 8:30 to go first half. LSU with the ball leading 7-3. Here at Auburn as the work on Brian Brinsfield continues, their outstanding senior deep snapper who was the first man down the field on that punt coverage team. And Bob Kessling, what do you know about Brian's condition?
Well, so far they're still just making sure. It appears to be some type of neck injury, so that is the reason they're so very careful about that. You don't want to take any chances on that. Clay Langford was the backup snapper, so now he's busy getting ready in case that Benford can return to the game. We can tell you coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at our SEC Player of the Week. Also, we'll take a look at the first family of Auburn football and Florida State football, and also have all the scores from around the country. One other thing we can tell you about, guys, to watch maybe, Patrick Nix on the interception. Apparently when he released the ball, he was getting ready to hit a face mask of one of the LSU players. They've been looking at his right hand. That may be why some of those passes he threw on the last series a little bit high. He's trying to get the feeling back in that right hand.
Yeah, those things can definitely affect your touch, and it appeared his touch on that pass out to the left flat for Harold Morrow was definitely off balance. Being very careful about moving Brian Brinsfield. Some sort of neck injury. He has not moved at all since he went down. This is just the sort of thing that scares the death out of you in college football, because you see a young man down there who's been playing for so long, has had such a great career here in his senior year, and all kind of bad thoughts run through your mind because he's not moving at all and they're not moving him at all. Auburn fans obviously concerned. Looks like now they're getting ready to move him onto a stretcher.
Well, this is the thing, as a player, you just do not allow yourself to think about it. And before the game, you try just to wipe all this out of your mind, because it's always a possibility. And he gets hit right. It was a good hit, straight ahead on the side of the helmet, and it looked like it snapped his head over. And now they have him on his back, at least. And just a real gregarious young man. He was out there clowning around. I mean, one of his dreams is that he'll get you know, if he makes it through his whole career without a bad snap, he get 1 vote for the Heisman. You know, he's just clowning around. You know, they ought to have an award for me or something. You know, just fiddling around and just a real guy that just contributes to the happiness of the program, and yet performs a valuable service that you don't ever get credit for. They only mention your name if you sail it over the punter's head or the field goal kicker's head.
The unsung heroes of college football. Ryan Brinsfield, the deep snapper. Guys like Patrick Sullivan who do the holding. Mark Workman, who does the same job for LSU. Brett Besh, the receiver. Who's the holder on the field goals and points after? All we can do right now is wait and hope that Brian is okay.
Number 64, that's a young man named Adcock. His grandfather played here. His father played here. Darrell Sanders, number 70, all concerned about their teammate. You know, because Brian's like a mascot almost. You know, you've been on teams with people like that, and just a wonderful kid.
Looks like they've got a wrap. They're getting around the helmet to stabilize so that when they move him, the neck does not move.
And hopefully this is just a precautionary measure, Bob. You know, I mean, as soon as you get if there's a chance of an injury back there, I mean, you want to take every precaution. You don't want to do anything that would somehow exacerbate the damage.
Our best wishes leave the field with Brian Brinsfield. And that of better than 80,000 here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Around the nation, Boston College trailing Tech. That's a second quarter score. Bit of a surprise there, but Virginia Tech's 2-0, ranked number 18. Penn State continues hammering big-name opponents, and Virginia leads Clemson by 3. First down at the 10-yard line. LSU in the shadow of its own goalposts. Howard will get to Sharp, and he will be stopped near the line of scrimmage. Marcellus Mostella, just a sophomore out of Gadsden, Alabama. The first man out there to meet him from his weak side linebacker position.
This work, they're trying to get it to the outside, and again, Marcellus Mostella, who will definitely be on the all-name SEC team, fights off the block and makes a play. Keep your feet, fend off the blocker, and complete the play.
You keep playing like that, underclassmen. Everybody around this league will know your name. Only a sophomore. They've got 4 seniors on the line, but a couple of babies behind them.
His middle name is Aurelius. Not really.
Second down and 10. Sharp again. And even worse, the ball's on the ground. Auburn has it. Touchdown! Chris Schilling. The hit was made by Mike Pelton.
The Lord give it. The Auburn defense take it away. So here we go. Pelton, great job. Also Mostella there to help pull it out, and Schilling all over the ball. A game of highs and lows. A few moments ago, Schilling was following Besh down the field. Now he scores a touchdown. Very opportunistic Auburn defense gets the Tigers back on top.
And then Matt Hawkins misses the extra point. It'll be 9-7 Auburn with 7:34 to go in the second quarter play. And maybe Brian Brinsfield heard those cheers as he headed away from the stadium in the ambulance. We certainly hope so.
Jermaine Sharp, who had a little trouble handling the ball last year, and it was loose early on in the game. This time Pelton and Mastella wrench it loose, and Chris Schelling, he's in the end zone. That's always a good feeling for a cornerback.
So it's 9-7 Auburn, 7:34. Bob Kessling with a further update.
Well, we got great news. Brinsfield, apparently it's a precautionary measure. When he was on the field, he was moving his hands and his legs, and he was talking to the medical staff. He had a bad back during spring practice. In fact, almost didn't play. So that's why they're doubly cautious about this. But apparently he just got his neck hit on that cover team. His parents are here. They've ridden with him to the hospital. He's going to East Alabama Hospital here just outside Auburn. But again, the word is good. They're just going to make sure he is fine, but he is moving. And it's a kind of a sigh of relief for everybody. But Brian is fine, headed to the hospital.
All right, Bob. Eddie Kennison, they're kicking away from him again. And another fair catch on the pooch kick call. That time it was Kamoja Brooks, a linebacker with good hands. They get him up there.
Rhonda and Paul Brinsfield are the parents, and I had dinner with Nancy Colon and Mike Colon, whose son is playing on this Auburn team. Of course, Mike was a former great Tiger here at Auburn and played with the Dolphins for a number of years. And Nancy talks about how nervous she gets and how concerned she is, and I know that Rhonda was concerned. And I'm glad that worked out fine.
First down, LSU. Ball just short of its own 27. We've got 7:34 before halftime. Single back set. Jamie Howard rolling. And it's short. He was looking for Chris Hill. I've never seen so many short passes in one half of football as we've seen from both quarterbacks today.
Well, Jamie Howard's a little bit off. He's gunning a little bit low, and but he'll adjust his sights and he'll bring it up. Good job by Willie Whitehead again, keeping his feet. They're trying to cut him down, but he kept Howard moving back. And then Jason Miska, 45, was coming up to help on containment.
And they don't have the running game going, Tim. Jermaine Sharp has lost yardage on his last 4 carries. He's not even out there right now. There's Toomer. He won't get credit for the tackle, but Gary Walker was the first man there to completely destroy the play. Great penetration into the offensive backfield.
By both he and Ramon Luster. Howard hands the ball to Toomer, and there you see it right there on LSU's side of the ball. Finally, Alonzo Etheridge jumps on top of him, but it was Ramon Luster and, as you pointed out, Gary Walker that did the damage.
Yeah, that's why he leads them in sacks. He spends so much time back there. Shotgun on 3rd down and 9. And a comeback pattern run by Brett Besh. And there's a flag on the play. Del McGee was the man out there guarding him. Had Besh caught that ball, he would have been short of the first down. As it is, LSU may come out of it a whole lot better.
Now, this is a difficult defense to be 3rd and long against, simply because they provide such a good rush.
On the defense, first down, spotted the ball. First down.
That brings up a question, was that a catchable ball?
Yep.
Usually a non-catchable ball is considered one that's way up high over the top. That was another split-fingered fastball that was sinking into the turf.
Yeah, Jamie Howard pitches for in the Atlanta Brave organization.
Macon, Georgia, Class A ball.
ERA was 4.07 this summer, I think.
First down after 34. Shovel pass. And straight ahead, Kevin Franklin. Nice little call on first down. From a man we don't see that much, Franklin, a sophomore, who had run the ball only 4 times this year coming into this game.
Something to try to slow down the penetration of that super aggressive Auburn defensive front. Try to run a draw, a shovel pass, try to drop out a screen, something to slow them down, get them thinking about anything but upfield for a second.
Anthony Harris, Mike Pelton, the Auburn defense trying to get it going here. 2nd and 1 they face. You see if LSU pulls something out of their sleeve. They just threw the pitch to the same man. Maybe just getting enough for the first down was Kevin Franklin. But you look at him, Tim, 5'9", 160. That brings into focus some of the little guys this LSU team has that can fly around the football field.
They've got some guys, Eric Smith, number 5 on the outside, Shedrick Wilson. They've got some people that if they get them the ball on the outside, running quick short routes, they're dangerous. I mean, if you miss them, they could go a long way.
First down at the 45. 5:56 to go. First half. Auburn leads LSU 9-7. 3 wide receivers. Howard into the belly of Franklin. He broke a tackle of Jason Miska, who had a shot at him in the backfield. And then Gary Walker got him as he went through the line of scrimmage. So the drive continues. Jamie Howard's got it going now with the help of a penalty a moment ago. Bob Kessling.
Bob, one thing about Howard, last year, as soon as the baseball season was over, he went straight into football. This year, he took about 10 days. When the baseball season started, he got to Baton Rouge, had a chance to kind of rest up, regroup. And Lynn Amity said he was much fresher this year heading into two-a-day practices. And he says it's really paying off. He's much well rested and prepared now.
2nd down and 7. Here they come. And he's got it over the top off the hands of David LaFleur. And you've got to throw one upstairs for him not to be able to get it because he goes 6'7", 275. Good quarterback pressure by Willie Whitehead.
This time they're coming with the blitz. You see Marcellus Mastella being blocked, but Whitehead gets a contact, and that'll help drift the ball off the mark. Last year, Jamie Howard was almost in he was in a competitive situation with Chad Luke. And I think he feels more confident now. The job is his, and he just needs to perform.
3rd down and 7. Howard looking to this side. Rifles one. Oh, what a catch out there by Todd Burks. Burks, the 4th LSU Tiger from that family. 3 other brothers have played in this uniform.
Wayne Hall, the defensive coordinator for Auburn, and Jack Hines, the defensive backfield coach, are running a lot of combination coverage on both sides. That time, Freddie Smith had Todd Burks. Beautiful coverage, but Howard rifled it in, and excellent concentration by Todd Burks to make that reception. He was well covered.
War Eagle, the battle cry on defense now as LSU continues to move the football. There's Franklin again. Interesting thing taking place out there with the running game. We mentioned that Jermaine Sharp had lost yardage on 4 consecutive carries. So that sophomore is out. And on this drive, it's been Kevin Franklin. I'll tell you what, that plane's lucky to be flying with some of the weather we've had around here. That proposal almost didn't fly today, baby.
Exactly. That conversation, look, they paid us already. We got to go. I don't know. Pretty low ceiling here.
2nd down and 5. Howard hands it to Franklin again. And Auburn with a wall there to meet him. Looked like the first man there was Alonzo Etheridge, number 91. Our Lee Apparel game of the week next Saturday. We've got Tennessee at Mississippi State. James Littleman Stewart and company at the home of the Bulldogs. And they're looking to make some noise after losing to LSU last week. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Next Saturday, our Lee SEC game of the week. Mississippi State off this week. Tennessee, of course, hosting Florida later this afternoon. 3rd down and 5. Howard rolling, stopping. And he's got his man, Shedrick Wilson. Anthony Harris there on coverage from the strong side linebacker spot, but LSU loves to get little guys like Wilson out there against those linebackers.
And this time Auburn chose not to substitute. Anthony Harris ended up on Shedrick Wilson, and Wilson found a little open spot on the sideline, and Howard got him the football. Good job. You know, Jamie Howard has maintained his composure. Things got a little slippery there for a while, but he seems to have settled down.
2:50 to go before halftime. They've got a great drive going here.
Just got a note from Ken Partridge, the SID here at Auburn, that Brinsfield is communicating, he's moving, and he's conscious, and everything seems to be okay.
Robert Toomer on the ball carry there, putting that face guard down and heading straight forward to about the 25-yard line. Yeah, Brian Brinsfield right now probably telling the doctors, I need a radio or a TV. Right now, I got to see or hear this game. Looks like Howard might have changed the play. Quick drop. What catch? Shedrick Wilson with a one-hander. Chris Schelling there defending, but all he could do was admire.
I wasn't sure if he was able to stay in bounds there, but what a catch. Schelling is all over him. Good job by Howard getting it off, and
yeah, he got him down.
Right, and he was forced out of bounds anyway. So when you got a receiver in that position, if you force him out, it counts.
Just be careful spiking the football after a play like that.
Yeah.
3rd down and 3. Anthony Harris, Brian Robinson and the Auburn defense getting ready for a big play. Howard looking left quickly up the middle, and the ball is caught. Todd Burks in traffic. His second outstanding catch on this drive, and what a strike delivered by Jamie Howard. 1st down, LSU.
Now, how did that get in there? I want to see how this got in there. Beautiful coverage by Ken Alvis. Robinson coming, McGee behind it, and Jamie Howard, I'm not sure it was big enough to say that he threaded the needle. Mostella jumping up in his face. Great job. Good concentration by Burks.
It's 1st down just outside the 10. Burks the motion man. Howard for Toomer. And he'll get nothing. Gary Walker from right tackle there to make the stop. His 5th of the day. That gives him 21 for the year. Out of Livonia, Georgia. Played JUCO for a couple of years at Hines and Raymond, Mississippi. They're about to have the 15th play of the drive, and like their first drive of the day, when LSU rang up 6 minutes and 34 seconds, they're past 6 minutes on this one, and their fans are down at this end of the field.
Now, this is something that we haven't seen from an LSU offense in the last couple of years. This kind of sustained drive.
2nd down, 10. Howard to the left side, angling in, and on the reception is Eric Smith. That'll get them about halfway to the goal line. It'll leave them with 3rd and 5. They can get a 1st down without scoring, but it would be inches from the goal line.
The man-to-man coverage here with Del McGee on Eric Smith. McGee sticks right with him. Eric Smith was from Vero Beach, Florida, and he made a beautiful 51-yard catch in the Mississippi State game, or against Texas A&M, actually.
LSU calling it 2nd timeout. It comes with 35 seconds to go in the 1st half. But as you mentioned, Tim, we're seeing something from this LSU team now that Tiger fans just haven't seen for a couple of years. The talent level was up. They're getting better depth. And they've got coaches like Terry Bowden, who's won 13 in a row, pacing nervously because they're playing so well.
Well, his Auburn Tigers, Terry's Auburn Tigers, came from behind so many times last year that this is really not an unusual position for him. And, you know, he's got to be feeling like nothing else can go wrong, so the 2nd half's going to be better.
LSU's walk-on program starting to look like Tom Osborne's up in Nebraska. Look at these guys. Mesh, the receiver, Blanchard, who plays center, Andre Guerin, the fullback, Andre LaFleur, the place kicker, and Mark Walker, who shares punting duties with Chad Kessler. Take a walk to Baton Rouge. You might be starting. Jamie Howard, 2 for 7 in the 1st quarter for 27 yards. Since then, 7 of 11 for 124. He's passed Some big quarterbacks in LSU history with that performance today. Now Auburn will call a timeout. Coming into the day, Jamie Howard had 3,131 yards passing, number 6 in the all-time LSU chart. He's passed Chad Loop, and he's also passed Burt Jones with his performance here in the first half.
So that leaves him behind Risher and Wickersham and
Tommy Hodson.
Thank you very much.
Tommy Hodson, better than 9,000 yards. Let's get a check-in downstairs on the field. Here's Bob Kessler.
Yeah, an interesting story. David Housel, the athletic director at Auburn, and LSU coach Curly Holman used to play against each other in high school. As David played at Gordy High School and Curly Holman played at Tuscaloosa County. Well, Housel met Curly coming off the bus today and said, remember, we beat you twice and tied you once in high school, and we're going to continue that today, Curly. You got no luck coming here.
The big man from Gordo, Alabama, David Housel, who is now the athletic director here, long-time SID, just a wonderful human being.
You mean David wasn't one of those little guys returning punts back then?
I don't know. I don't think he could have caught Kennison. But excellent selection. And a man that'll do a wonderful job. And then Kent Partridge takes over.
Auburn calls another timeout.
Of course, on the other side, we've got, you know, Herb Vincent at the SID as the SID at LSU. And then Joe Dean, string music. Joe Dean is really just sitting a few chairs over.
Yeah, one of the great characters in all of college athletics. So another timeout by Auburn. Now, I've heard of icing the kicker before. Evidently, he feels like he's icing the LSU offense here.
Well, so much of what LSU does is determined by who's in the game at the time. If they come with 5 wide receivers, because they have three basic looks: the I look, the 3 wide with the tight end, and then they come with 4 or 5 wide receivers at one point in time. So Wayne Hall trying to match them up.
Well, a couple of years ago, we were here for LSU Auburn, and it was exciting. September 19th of '92, and in the 4th quarter, it would be Jamie Howard, then a freshman quarterback, slipping and falling on his first play. But after that, he started getting it done. 3 TDs in the final 10 minutes and a 28-27 lead. But it didn't last for long because Scott Etheridge, the great kicker for Auburn, put away a 42-yarder in the final seconds, and the Auburn Tigers got away with a 30-28 win. I don't think we're going to score that many points today. 3rd down and 5. Howard looking to his right. Low throw. Eddie Kennison couldn't reach it, and they may just settle for the leading field goal if they can take it here with 30 seconds to go. It'll be a chip shot. Andre LaFleur is their field goal kicker, 1 for 3 on the year. He's had 1 blocked already today. Number 23, the junior out of Lafayette. The only one he's hit this year, 22 yards last week. And this will be exactly 22 yards in the middle of the field. Brett Besh, the holder. Mark Workman, the snapper. And he's got it, and LSU will lead by 1 with 26 seconds to go.
Good secondary play by Auburn, keeping LSU out of the end zone, but a lot of patience shown and a lot of confidence and maturity being displayed by the LSU offense, being able to drive the ball all the way down the field on a really fine and well-coached Auburn defense.
Yeah, 17 plays worth. 68 yards. And they had the football for more than 7 minutes. 7:08 to be exact. Capped by the Andre LaFleur 22-yarder. Skies have been darkening for a while, starting to drizzle down there a little bit. But all in all, we can't complain. The way that rained all day yesterday, the turf here, they got a big crown on this field. It really does drain well, and you mentioned the sand base before, Tim.
And they got pumps under there that'll pull the water down out of the grass, so it'll be fine. You know, Howard was the first quarterback in LSU history to throw to start the season with back-to-back 200-yard performances.
Yeah, even Tommy Hodson never did that. And it goes out of bounds at the 9. Thomas Bailey, the man for Auburn, who was waiting to receive the kick on that side. Impressive drive by LSU. After the Auburn Chris Schelling fumble recovery for a touchdown, he just picked up the football and went 68 yards in better than 7 minutes. Now the ball will come all the way up to the 35-yard line. That's where Auburn will set up its offense. They've got 1 timeout remaining. Each team does. 26 seconds to go in the half. Bob Kessling with a full menu of halftime activities for you. 4 wide receivers. It appears that at least for one play, Terry Bowden's not going to settle for that 1-point deficit at the half. And it was almost picked off upfield by Ivory Hilliard. Frank Sanders, the intended receiver. Hilliard was out there playing center field. This is a DB's dream, this situation.
And they've got four guys that can run on Auburn, too. Sanders, Bailey, and then Goodson and Gaucher. And Gaucher and Goodson are the 2 young guys. One a redshirt freshman, one a sophomore. They're kind of thin wide receivers, and Tommy Bowden calls them sticks and bones. You know, and send sticks and bones in there. And but they've got great hands.
2nd down and 10, and Nix will keep it. So it looks like Terry said, let's try it for 1 play, see what we can do, and if not, we're out of here. It'll be halftime at Auburn, and LSU on the Andre LaFleur field goal will lead it 10-9 at the half. It was a tough defensive and scoreless first quarter, and things got pretty exciting in the second quarter of play. As Hawkins hit a field goal, Brett Besch cut a long touchdown pass for LSU. Then Chris Schelling, the big play to recover the fumble for the touchdown. Auburn led 9-7, 7.5 minutes to go. And then the big long drive by LSU. And with 26 seconds to go, Andre LaFleur gave LSU the 10-9 halftime lead. Bob Kessling with Curly Holman on the field.
Coach, you got the lead at halftime.
Feel good about where we are. It's a close ball game. We're ahead. We cannot do what we did down here. We got to protect the football. You backed up in your own territory. You got to get it off the goal line. You got to get good field position if you have to punt it. But for goodness sakes, let's don't leave it on the ground and give them an easy one.
Is this the tempo and the style you would like to have this game?
Oh, I don't know about all that. Well, I think we're playing hard. We got to get more penetration. We got to be more aggressive defensively. The first 2 ball games we were, so we got to pick the pace up there. But you know, we're in the ball game. We're ahead, so I got to feel pretty good right now. But we got a chance to be a little bit better.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Curly Holman, the LSU coaches. Tigers lead here at halftime by a score of 10-9. And we'll be back for our halftime activities from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama in just a moment.
All right, Bob Kessling, thank you very much. And back here upstairs. And Tim, I think the thing that we might be the most impressed about LSU is the fact that they had that couple of long drives in the first half. That's something they just have not been able to do for the last couple of SEC seasons.
Right. You know, we've seen them do that a couple of times, but then they kind of seem to get stressed at the edges and come apart. And that's what it looked like was happening midway through that first half. But then they recaptured their confidence and then moved on down the road.
They had a chance to lead in the first quarter. Field goal was blocked, so it was scoreless as we headed into the second quarter of play. And then capping a short drive of 29 yards. Matt Hawkins, a 40-yarder. He's 4 for 4 now this year. And then what about this play? Brett Besch, a deflected ball, and he goes 76 yards.
Tremendous concentration. You know, we had a graphic up there about the walk-ons at LSU. That LSU walk-ons have scored all the points.
But then as they were down at their own 10-yard line, a fumble and into the end zone where Chris Schelling of Auburn picked it up. Mike Pelton was the man who caused the fumble, and with 7:34 to go, Auburn led it 9-7. And then after an impressive drive of 68 yards over 7 minutes, Andre LaFleur, a 22-yarder. And with 26 seconds to go, they led 10-9. That's our halftime score. Look at the rushing yardage. Auburn has the advantage, but LSU very good through the air. 76 of that on one play. And statistically, they've held their own, and they've got time of possession.
And they just need to maintain their composure and not make any mistakes. Don't give Auburn any room. Don't give them any breaks. They have had a few rulings fall in their favor. LSU has the first half, and so they just got to protect the football.
Tim, as you look at the second half now, Auburn has not been that good of a second half team this year. What's the key for them?
Well, I think that over the past 13 games, they have done what's necessary.
All right, let's get it downstairs, and Terry Bowden joins Bob Kessling.
Coach, what'd you tell your team at halftime?
Man, we just got to quit stopping ourselves. We drive it good early. We have a penalty that we missed the 4th and 1. Close game like this, you can't make those mistakes. We got to keep playing hard.
Your defense came up with a big score.
They're playing good. We're averaging 8 yards on the runs. We just hadn't made anything happen. We're going to keep fighting.
Is Patrick Nix's hand okay?
Yeah, he's doing real good. Got some stitches in his chin.
Okay, thanks, Coach. So, halftime is over. Second half coming up. LSU leading Auburn by a score of 10-9. Back with a second half kickoff from Auburn in just a moment.
Ball being teed up for the second half of play, and that's Matt Herkamp, a junior who we've seen out of Shalimar, Florida for a couple of years. He's struggled in the field goal department, but he's got a strong leg, and they want him to put the ball in the end zone as Auburn will receive the ball to start the third quarter. And he puts it to the 2. Thomas Bailey looking for some room outside, and he will be wrestled down at the 23-yard line by Denard Walker, a reserved secondary man for the LSU Tigers after a 21-yard return, and Auburn will get the offense going here in the third quarter of play. Auburn has not been that good in the second half this year. They've outscored their opponents in the third quarter 20-7, but in the fourth they've been outscored 13-zip. Patrick Nix has missed his last 5 passes. He was 6 for 9 at one point. He will pitch. Stephen Davis will carry, and there won't be much there for him as James Gilliard, the left defensive end for LSU, will come up with a tackle. Stephen Davis in the first half, 9 carries for 69 yards. His longest was 14.
I think that time he was just displaying his displeasure with the fact that the official hadn't blown the whistle early enough, and they called a fumble on him in the second quarter. That time he just kept right on running, and that's a lesson learned.
There's the man out of Shreveport's Woodlawn High School, James Gilliard, the junior. Second down and 8. And Nix will spin one to the near side. Frank Sanders at the 31-yard line. That'll be about 1.5 yards short of a first down.
Phil Bennett has to be proud of the way his guys performed in the first half. Phil Bennett, Jerry Baldwin, Pete Fredenberg, and Lee Fobbs, defensive staff at LSU. Phil Bennett spent some time at Purdue, coaching there.
Yeah, you old boilers stick together, don't you? This is a 3rd and 1. And we'll call it a long one. They need to get to the 33. They've got 2 tight ends in there, Fuller and McCovery.
Against Ole Miss, they ran a lot of sneaks. They started off by running a sneak, but they didn't get the first down, so.
Nix will pitch, and there was an initial hit, but falling forward for the first down, Stephen Davis. James Gilliard had some penetration to put the hit on him. That spun him around, and then Ivory Hilliard from the secondary made the tackle.
See Leonard Thomas, Willie Anderson, Andy Fuller, number 82 there. Hilliard trying to fill it, but good effort by Davis. They're going to measure.
Yeah, it looks like he made it. The stick on the far sideline was sitting right at the 33-yard line, and the football is there. Oh, look at this. That's why they measure. And the Auburn fans are very unhappy about the spot of the football. That's the second time today that they've come up short, and they will make the kick decision. Terry Bowden knows that in conference games, this deep in your territory, coming out of the locker room, you've got to get rid of the football and kick it away. That's what Terry Daniel will do.
Clay Langford is over the ball now. The first snap in over 350 that hasn't come from Brian Brinsfield.
He's got it on target. Oh, look at this kick. Kennison waiting for it, but he's got some room to operate. He gets by 2 men, cuts outside, and he will be angled out of bounds at the 43 of LSU. Eddie Kennison's long return this year, of course, 100 against Mississippi State last week. He gets 25 back after this 52-yard kick.
And if you're on special teams blocking, you really work hard for a guy like Eddie Kennison, because you know that he can take it all the way at any time. You're not just walking through the motions. You're trying to lock up somebody and take him down.
There's the other 100-yard kick return. Jimmy Campagna of Georgia against Washington State in 52. And Burt Retchikar of Tennessee against Washington and Lee in 1950.
Burt Retchikar, Baltimore Cole after he went to Tennessee.
And there's Jermaine Sharp on the ball carry. Jermaine had a rather puzzling first half. Came out looking good. Then he lost yardage on 4 consecutive carries. He was pulled out of the game at that point. They went with Kevin Franklin. And Jermaine finished the first half with only 8 carries for 16 yards. Pretty amazing considering he had a long play of 20. So on everything else, he lost yardage. There's one of the reasons. Jason Miska playing in the middle there. Derek Robinson had knee surgery last Friday. He's out for the season.
Miska led him last year in tackles, and he's quite a story.
Kennison, the motion man, on 2nd and 8. Little bootleg. Howard looking out to this side, and it's too tall for everybody. It was over Kennison and way over Brett Besh. Quarterback pressure by Alonzo Etheridge from right defensive end.
Etheridge had a interception last week against Northeast Louisiana on the 3-yard line. Coming around the backside as Jamie Howard lets it go, and Alonzo kind of backed off on that. He didn't give him the full hammer blow.
Here comes a 3rd down and 8 for LSU. They've had the ball for the first 3 minutes and 14 seconds of the quarter. At least after Auburn went 3 and out. And that ball might have been intercepted. It was! Chris Schilling! And that's the 9th interception of his career. He cut right in front of Brett Besh and fought the ball away.
He was right there with Brett Besh all the way. Schilling is always going to be close, but he had help from Robinson on the inside. They were double teaming him, and Schilling went down and dug the ball out. Great play by Chris Schilling, who's one of the premier cornerbacks in the SEC.
Auburn takes over at their own 47th. Nix on the run, and he's got Frank Sanders. He's out of bounds down around the 41 of LSU. Rodney Young, the left corner, the man they were working on.
Stansbury coming on the blitz, and he kind of let Nix have it after the ball was gone. Sanders runs a nice route on Rodney Young and makes the catch. You know, that ball, if it's well thrown, is going to be caught. It's one-on-one on the outside, and you know, one of the things that Rodney has to think about, especially on 1st down, is a deep throw. Prevent that.
Single back and 4 wide receivers for Nix and the Tigers. That ball was tipped and almost picked off. Right into the chest of Rodney Young. Chuck Wiley, the man who appeared to get a hand on it. He backs up Nate Miller at left tackle.
You know, and Stansbury went dancing with Nix again. This is becoming quite a couple here. And Young almost comes up with a big play. Good play by Stansbury.
Chuck Wiley, a redshirt freshman from Baker, Louisiana. A fumble recovery against Mississippi State in his first career game, and he almost caused an interception right there. 2nd and 10. And all over the quarterback, Gabe Northern. Wiley picks it up. And the Tigers of LSU have the football.
A heads-up play by Northern and Wiley, but a great play by Tom Nix, because Wiley looked like he was off to the races, and Nix reaches up from his prone position on the turf and makes the tackle.
Wiley comes up big on 2 consecutive plays. LSU has the lead and the football. On your local SEC station, Mississippi State doesn't play today. Later, Tennessee hosting Florida. And here in Auburn, fans are concerned. LSU got the Chuck Wiley fumble recovery, and great field position. Turnovers have been a factor today. From the 46, Sharp. And he'll get about 4, maybe 5. The best thing that could happen for LSU right now, Tim Foley, would be to get that offensive line churning and get Jermaine Sharp back into this football game.
You got to get him feeling confident again, I think, in terms of holding on to the football, and that was a good start. He hit it up behind Blanchard and Mark King, and there was some good movement on the front from Smothers and Price. The offensive line's doing okay. It might be a good idea now to try to head more at Auburn. Their ends are upfield.
Call it 5 on first down. Howard pointing to a cheating quarterback. And he gives it to Sharp again. Fumble. And it has been recovered by Auburn. It looks like Brian Robinson, the free safety. So a rash of turnovers.
Sean Wells taking Etheridge inside. Guerin gets a good block on Mostella. That's the first time he's been blocked today. Now, you know, that one might have been a break for Auburn as far as that goes, as Robinson and Schelling hit him. It looked like that Sharp might have been on the ground.
First down at the 35 for Auburn. We've only played 4.5 minutes of this quarter. Ball's changed hands 4 times. And running hard is Stephen Davis. Now that the other tailback has given up the football, will this tailback start to assert himself?
A fine job here out in front by Leonard Thomas, number 60. He's trying to get there, and Frazier gets a block. Thomas makes one pay off, and Davis gets 3 yards on the play.
Averaging 7 a carry. That was number 12. He had 158 against Ole Miss 2 weeks ago. There he goes again. And right there to say hello, the guy with the single digit, James Gilliard, number 7. They say this guy has a way of finding the ball. They call him a speed rusher.
And he started 7 games as a true freshman. Moved to defensive end after he played some linebacker, and you know, he's one of those guys that can be the heart of your defense. Gilliard, Northern, scrappers.
Auburn not very good on 3rd down today. This is a 3rd and 2.
And they line up in a shotgun.
Yes, sir. A little shovel. The ball's been dropped. Called incomplete. That is considered a pass. And there's a flag on the play, as Phil Bennett is living and dying with every play his defense is making out there today. An offensive holding.
It's Pete Fredenberg standing next to him, and his son is starting at quarterback his first game at Austin High School. There, you see him in the back of the picture there. The guy that's more my age in the back of the picture.
Holding on the offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
So Auburn will kick it away again.
So now that's got to make you proud of your defense if you've got Auburn, a powerful running team, lining up in a shotgun in 3rd and 2.
We're trying to see who the first team is here in this quarter who can hold on to the ball for 2 minutes. We're 6 minutes in almost, and this is the 5th change of possession. Low wobbly kick. It'll go out of bounds just inside the 20. They'll mark it at the 17.5. That's where LSU will take over. We're back after a word from your local stations. LSU 10-9, 3rd quarter. Halftime score still holds up here. Almost 6 minutes into the third quarter. 10-9 LSU's Tigers over Auburn's Tigers. Third quarter on a hot, muggy field, feels like mush type afternoon because it rained here. Curley says they didn't mow the grass here after Wednesday, did they? Tough to get anything going down there.
They didn't mow the grass after they saw Kennison run the ball back 100 yards.
Out of the shotgun on first down at the 18. There's a shovel to Eddie Kennison. He'll have to fight hard to get about 3, and there's a flag back at the 18-yard line.
Curly Hallman's in a tough spot. They've got Auburn jumping off sides. Etheridge, of course, is pointing at the offense. Curly's in a tough spot. He's got a star running back, Jermaine Sharp, that has put the ball on the ground a couple of times and cost him. And you don't want to destroy the young man's confidence, but you also don't want to put your offense at risk.
Not at your own 18-yard line.
Right.
This will make it 1st and 5. There's Jermaine on the sidelines. Only had 16 yards rushing in the first half. Couple of fumbles. First down at the 23. Single back is Kevin Franklin. 4 wide receivers. And he goes up top and throws it away.
Good disguise by Chris Schelling. Jamie Howard thought he had it short back into the sideline, but as the ball was snapped, Schelling rotated up, Robinson over behind him to help out, and so there was no place for Jamie Howard to go with the football except into the first row.
And that's part of his process of maturing. He's passed Chad Loop and Burt Jones today. He's got a ways to go to move into that number 3 spot, but he's got over a year and a half to do it. 2nd and 5. Quartet of receivers again. We'll go to the sophomore. Out of the hands of Kevin Franklin, out of bounds. And we'll see where they mark it.
See number 79, Marcus Schelling, working hard to get downfield. Excuse me, Marcus Price. And number 68, Ben Bordelon. Schelling is, just in case the official didn't get that one correct, was letting everybody know that that wasn't happening.
There's Marcus Price, 6'6", 301 senior. Yeah, they make him big in Port Arthur, Texas. One of the top pass blockers in the league. 3rd and 2 at the 26. Todd Burke's the motion man. Howard looks right. And with a man hanging on him, that huge tight end, David LaFleur, has it. Jason Miska, 6'2", 218, but it's a mismatch, folks. LaFleur goes 6'7", 275. He caught a career-high 4 passes last week against the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Howard drops to throw. Todd Burks ends up in about the same spot as LaFleur, dragging over behind him. Miska's in the right spot, but he's just walled out by that big body, and David LaFleur makes the catch. LSU first down.
Big guy to go to in certain situations. At the 34. Ball run by Robert Toomer, who was unbelievable in high school at Sylvester, Georgia County High, All-American there several years ago. Has the national record for numbers of carries. 1,222 carries in high school. I'm surprised he had enough strength left to be a backup at 2 positions when he got to Division I.
They do use him at fullback and tailback, and he has the speed of a tailback. He can scoot outside.
5'10", 212, the size of a fullback. 2nd and 8. Same guy. Get a yard or 2. Mike Pelton's right in the middle of all that. Shannon Suttle is in there for Auburn.
Wayne Hall, a defensive coordinator here at Auburn. He's been here for 14 years. I think he's been the coordinator for 9. And he has really turned out some defensive linemen here. It's just Donnie Humphrey, Doug Smith, Benji Rowland, Gerald Williams, Robert Goff, Ron Stallworth, just to mention a few. 16 of them have played in the NFL. So they're going to be tough up front always.
Here's another 3rd down. They need 6. High snap. Howard with time. He's got Kinnison. And that's at the 35 of Auburn. A great throw, and Kinnison caught it maybe 2 yards before he went out of bounds. He beat Del McGee out there in the corner.
Now, Del McGee did about as good as you can do in this situation. He's man-to-man, and as you mentioned, he did have some time. For once, nobody was in his face, breathing down his throat. He let it go, and he put it on the money. Nice touch by Jamie Howard.
He never got to see it, thanks to Anthony Harris. Big play for the Tigers of LSU at the Auburn 35. Clock runs when the snap is made at 6:31 to go, third quarter. LSU's been a great time of possession team today. Toomer. And he's got about 4. He dragged Marcellus Mostella with him.
Once again, cutting it back against the grain is Robert Toomer. Well, they graduated 3 offensive linemen, this LSU football team did, and
Look
one
at
of
that
them,
yardage from high school.
Yep.
7,800. Emmett Smith out of Pensacola on that list. 7,800 yards on 1,200 carries. 2nd and 6. Toomer again. Nice little cut. He got into the secondary, and they'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down. Curly Holman pacing as his team continues to pace the football down the field.
You know, at Southern Miss, of course, they defeated, under his tutelage, they defeated Alabama, they defeated Auburn, they defeated Florida State when they were number 1 in the nation. Last year, we saw them break Alabama's unbeaten streak in Tuscaloosa, and here they are trying to knock off this giant, Auburn.
3rd and a long 1. The pitch to Toomer. He never got there. Jason Miska is there for the tackle, plus a couple of teammates. Auburn did an outstanding job of piling things up on the corner. Anthony Harris joining Miska.
And they converted a field goal right before the half, but their first field goal attempt of the game was stuffed by Pelton.
We've got a 45-yarder coming up here from the right hash mark by Andre LaFleur. He's got the distance. Is he inside the upright? Yes! And LSU tacks on 3 more and leads 13-9 on a 45-yarder, longest of the year for Andre LaFleur. So with 4:30 to go, third quarter, it's the Tigers of LSU by 4. Another impressive drive by LSU. This one covers better than half the field. 45-yard field goal by Andre LaFleur. 13-9. 4:30 to go, third quarter. Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley, Bob Kessling from Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn, Alabama. Matt Herkamp with the kickoff. Halfway into the end zone, and Frank Sanders wants no part of it.
Last week against Mississippi State, they had a problem covering kickoffs, and Herkamp certainly makes it easy.
LaFleur, 45 of the 54 yards. That was not his career high, by the way. His career long, a 49-yarder last year against Mississippi State. Something about those Bulldogs brings out the best in these LSU Tigers. They've beaten Jackie Sherrill 3 consecutive times. In the past, they've had trouble keeping the momentum they've gotten from that MSU game. But this week, they look very impressive here at Auburn. Now it's up to Patrick Nix and these Tigers to get something going. 1st and 10. At the 20, near side, Stephen Davis. You just look at the way he runs and how big and tough he is to bring down. You wonder why he hasn't busted more long runs than he has.
Let's watch him run here as he takes the ball from Patrick Nix. Anderson comes around, tries to get a block, and Goodson is fighting off a defensive back. Linebacker, actually, Alan Stansberry. And he's going to get better and better as he learns to see. I mean, he was out of football really for a year. He was academically ineligible for a year, and he's really just getting back into things.
Nick's in trouble, and he throws it away, and that'll be a flag. He was in the grasp and had 2 other defenders after him, and there was not a receiver in the area. Bobby Williams, strong side linebacker who backs up Alan Stansberry, was pressuring the quarterback.
Intentional grounding on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 3rd down.
Loss of down, the big thing here.
Nick's drifting to his right. Nobody really there. Lets it go in an area where no blue jerseys are to be found, and that one just didn't fly.
Well, I saw Patrick Sullivan on the sidelines. He is a wide receiver, but he didn't have a helmet on. Auburn 1 of 7 today in 3rd down. There's number 17, who was the only guy in a blue shirt near that play.
Of course, the son of the famous Auburn quarterback and head coach at TCU.
Was it caught? No. Too low for Thomas Bailey, and even if he catches it, they're nowhere near 1st down yardage. And a tough day for Patrick Nix continues. And now folks in the stands are saying, hey, where's Damian Craig? We saw him earlier for a couple of plays. Will we see him here in the 2nd half? And look out here, Eddie Kennison will come away with good field position for the Tigers of LSU. Jerry Daniel had a 52-yard kick last time, but he may have outkicked his coverage. Hangs this one up. Kennison at his own 39. A dance to the right, a move to the left, and another. And he's outside. 2 men to beat. Cuts it inside, and he's down to the 25 of Auburn. 46 on the kick, 34 on the return. And Eddie Kennison puts LSU in touchdown or field goal territory very quickly.
You can bet that Curly Hallman talked to him about the possibilities here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I bet they reminisced about their excursion to Tuscaloosa last year. And as we mentioned before, they work hard on punt returns because they know the prowess of young Eddie Kennison. Anytime he can break it.
1st down at the 25. Howard to Toomer. A missed tackle. And he's down to the 15, maybe the 14. Chris Schelling, who's had such a great game at the boundary corner, had him for a loss and let him get away.
Good vision by Robert Toomer. Nothing home at the hole. He bounces it outside. You see it here. Gets up in there, nothing there, and he goes lateral right down the line of scrimmage. Mastella is outrun, and finally Albus is there to make the stop.
Another 1st down for LSU. Howard keeping it on the ground to Toomer. He sees a little seam up the middle. And he gets his helmet down inside the 10-yard line. He was going to cut offside, but he didn't see anything. He saw a little daylight straight ahead. Anthony Harris, strong side linebacker on the tackle. They're feeling good, the folks who come from Baton Rouge for this one.
Wayne Hall has to be a little concerned here. Obviously, at this point, not getting a lot of production out of the offense, but, you know, it's just going to be like that in some games. And defensively, you got to come up and make some plays. You got to make something happen. Take it away.
2nd down and 6. Toomer straight ahead. And he's to the goal line. Touchdown, LSU. He had to do a great job just to hold on to the ball after the hit he took. And LSU is into the end zone with 2:31 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Auburn is blitzing. They're upfield. LSU takes it on up front. Robinson hammers Toomer, but it's too late. It's 6 points for the Bengal Tigers.
Andre LaFleur on for the extra point. It's 20-9. LSU with the upset brewing, but we've got a lot of football left to play here in Auburn.
I think that's the position got to take. Auburn coaching staff, they got 2 minutes plus 15 minutes of football left, and they're not going to get into throwing the ball all over the park. They're going to start running the ball. Let's watch it again. Great job by Smothers closing it off down in there, and bam, Toomer just explodes inside. Great stick by Brian Robinson, but just not in time.
And remember Eddie Kennison. He's the guy who made the big punt return of 34 yards that set up that quick scoring drive.
I would say that LSU has a tremendous advantage in return yards this afternoon, especially punt returns. Thomas Bailey hasn't really been able to get anything unwound bringing the ball back. Of course, the ball isn't being punted as far.
The nation's longest winning streak at serious risk. The 31 of Bama came to an end last year up the road. And now the 13 of Auburn. That was a scoring drive of 51 seconds, by the way. 25 yards in only 3 plays. Matt Herkamp, who bombed one halfway into the end zone last time. We'll tee it up again. Deep and fumble by Bailey. And they've got to settle for picking the ball up, and Auburn comes away with bad field position. That was a mental mistake. Easily catchable ball. Well, join us for a great college football matchup at the Outback Steakhouse Gator Bowl December 30th. Send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to the address on the screen. Register to win a trip for 2, including game tickets, hotel, and airfare. The winner will be announced during the SEC game of the week, November 26th. Must be 21 years of age or older to enter. And our question, Tim Foley, of the last possession has been answered. Now we know where Damian Craig is. He's in the game.
Right. And if I'm in the secondary for LSU, I think the Auburn staff is doing the right thing. You got to get him in here at least for a series. He's got the ability to make things happen.
He'll hand it off. Nothing will be there for Stephen Davis.
But if I'm in the LSU secondary, I know I have an inexperienced guy back there now, and so I know I'm going to try to move around, give him some disguises, try to get him thinking a little bit. I don't think that you'll see Tommy Bowden throwing the ball much down here. They just want to get Craig into the game, acclimated toward taking the ball from center and handing it off to somebody. I'd be surprised if you saw the ball in the air here at this moment.
Stephen Davis, 15 carries, 83 yards. Damian Craig's stats on the year, he's only thrown the ball 6 times. Gets away from Gilliard, and is that outside the goal line? He was almost sacked for the safety. James Gilliard had a hand on him, and Damian Craig's athletic ability kept that from being 2 points.
I think they were fortunate there. As I said, I'd be surprised if I saw a pass, but that's why I'm not a coach. Those guys know what to do, and, I'm just up here in the box. But
wow, his knee was almost down in the end zone.
They're fortunate that's not 2 points.
How did he keep that left knee from hitting the turf?
Did he get out? I'm not sure he ever got out. But anyhow.
3rd and 17, and a timeout call. Damian says, I better be sure about this. The redshirt freshman out of Blood High School in Pritchard, Alabama. Led that high school to 2 state titles. 33 yards, 33 touchdowns as a high school senior. Tough ball game in the ACC as Virginia continues to lead Clemson 6-3. West Virginia really struggling. It never recovered from what Nebraska did to them in the kickoff classic. Virginia Tech is 2-0, number 18 in the nation. They're looking good against BC right now. And there's your number for the latest scores on our Jefferson Pilot score line, $1 a minute. And you youngins get your parents' permission before making that call.
Have you know that Tavares High School pulled off a 40-0 victory last night, Roberto? And, I wish I could have been there to see that.
Well, we've had some great ball games so far this year.
Excellent.
Had Ole Miss coming back against Auburn, with the Tigers holding on. Vandy gave Bama all they wanted last week. And here's a 3rd and 17. Damian Craig keeping it, and a little breathing room for the punter as he gets out to the 4. Alan Stansberry for the LSU defense. Bill Bennett and company have to feel pretty good. And now the big thing is we're in the final 45 seconds of the third quarter. LSU figures to get great field position again, even if that guy doesn't break one.
Really, I mean, the benefit is that you got Terry Daniel that can knock the heck out of the ball, right? The liability is that he's hitting it to Kennison, and here he kind of shanks that one.
That man really influences field position. A 21-yard kick, and right now it's fallen apart for Auburn. LSU will get the ball back with great field position at the 25 of Auburn, and 24 seconds to go, third quarter.
The LSU's got to get thirsty. They've got to put the lid on this thing, and Auburn is fighting back. They got to make something happen defensively. They have to make a play here.
Kennison, the motion man. Howard to Toomer. Room trying to get outside. He'll get about 4. Tripped up by Jason Miska, who makes his 5th tackle today from middle linebacker. And that figures to be the final play of the third quarter. And remember, we go to the fourth quarter, in which Auburn has been outscored 13-0 this year.
LSU currently has that second line in there. It's not really the second string, it's the other line, and Curley has a lot of confidence in those guys.
Upset brewing. 15 minutes to go. Curley's Tigers in great shape. They are excited, those who've come from Baton Rouge to Auburn, Alabama. The marching band from Tigerland and all their accessories.
And they are in the minority here.
Well, sure they are. They're supposed to be. But they've got the majority of the points, and that's all that matters. 20-9 as the fourth quarter starts with a 2nd and 6 at the 21. Kennison motion. Howard fakes to Toomer, and he has to get rid of it. And the ball was thrown almost into the hands of Willie Whitehead. Now, we must add, there was a receiver in the area, David LaFleur.
Well, he wanted Eric Smith, who was on a down and in route, and good job of coverage by Chris Schelling and Brian Robinson.
There's our Lee Apparel game summary after 3 quarters. Auburn and LSU not that much different in rushing, but in passing 100 yards the difference. And LSU averaging 363 total yards a game, right on the mark. On 3rd and 6. No gain. Kevin Franklin. Anthony Harris, the first man to get there. Number 53 with 7 tackles on the day. 31 to lead the team this year.
Well, then Amity tries to sneak one by him here. The little trick behind the back draw play. But Anthony Harris is on the spot, makes the stop.
39-yard field goal attempt near the left hash. Andre LaFleur.
Good job by the Auburn defense, prevented the touchdown.
He hits it beautifully. No problem. 23-9, LSU with a 2-touchdown lead. And it comes 43 seconds into the fourth quarter. LaFleur and the Bayou Bengals getting the job done, and the upset continues to brew in Auburn. 23-9, LSU gets the Andre LaFleur field goal. 14-17 to go. No matter how you spell go. G-E-A-U-X, fine with us.
We're working on that down there. That's what's great about doing these LSU games. Bordelon and Thibodeau and all that stuff.
Yeah, then you got a guy from Auburn by the name of Robique playing center. Of course, he's a Denham Springs guy.
Right, from Louisiana.
Kickoff goes to the far side, and this time LSU plays as if Eddie Kennison is back there to return one against him as Matt Herkamp squibs one out of bounds. Charles Barkley is here today. Well, he'll shake up a few things if he ever gets to Montgomery, won't he?
Goodness gracious.
Be the first rim in the Oval Office.
Right.
Or whatever shape it is.
Well, Terry Bowden talking to his brother Tommy, trying to get some spark generated here on offense. Certainly a long way from being out of this game, but also seconds ticking away here. 14-17 left to play.
Auburn at its own 35. Damian Craig on the shotgun. Big pressure. Gets the ball out to Tyrone Goodson and hit off of his shoulder pad and flew away. There is some big-time pressure now from this front four of LSU.
Well, this is a change that they made at LSU, and certainly when you get a young quarterback in there, you don't want to give him a second to think. You get a young quarterback in there, you're going to come after him, like they came after Damian Craig there. Now the risk, of course, he's got great ability, great mobility, and if he gets away, you got a big play.
At Rogers, 82, the first man in there for LSU a moment ago. Here's a quarterback draw. When he made his cut back, he ran right in front of the pursuing defenders. Kenny Mixon was one of those who backs up James Gilliard at left defensive end.
There's Tommy Bowden. There's half of Tommy Bowden talking into the microphone there with Terry. Terry makes the play call after talking to Tommy. They kind of work it out.
3rd and 9 at the 36. Big play in the ball game here for Auburn. They've got to get some first downs. Craig. Oh, what a catch! Craig Sanders, incomplete, they call it. Is Sanders mad at himself or at the call? Let's have a look.
I don't know. He laid out for one in the Ole Miss game. Almost made a fantastic catch. No, he didn't catch the ball. Good call by the official. Good selling job by Frank to try to make him feel bad. But no, From here, it might look like he made it, but the ball hits the ground and bounces back up.
Here comes the pressure, and they almost blocked the kick of Terry Daniel. Eddie Kennison is back there all alone. Look at that. He gets away from about 5 or 6 of them, and he's out to the 29.5-yard line. Harold Morrow on the tackle. My. Let's get an update down from the field. Here's Bob Kessling.
Well, you know that Kennison is such the exciting player. One of the reasons he's been able to excel, he claims, is a necklace he wears around his neck. It was given to him by his old high school football coach, who just, we hate to report, passed away last year, but the wife of his high school football coach gave it to him. He thinks about him all the time. He was an inspiration for him, and that's what he says motivates him right now.
He's had quite a day. Here's Toomer, and he's met head-on by Mike Pelton, number 50. Mike Pelton, 5 tackles, a fumble forced, a sack, and a blocked field goal. He wants to be the defensive player of the week again, like he was 2 weeks ago when he had 14 tackles, including 2 sacks in that game at Ole Miss. Easy to see why he's been chosen a preseason All-SEC. 2nd and 9.
All those guys up front, Whitehead, Walker, Etheridge, they can all play.
A little too tall for Brett Besh out on the left flank.
Del McGee taking a dangerous angle, cut up in front of Brett Besh, trying to make something happen. Jamie Howard overthrew it, but before the game's over, if LSU needs it, you may see an out and up on McGee, who's playing aggressively. He's trying to make a play for his team.
Jamie Howard had 226 yards against A&M, 237 against Mississippi State, and he's about to make it 3 straight 200-yard games. He's 11 of 26 for 186 today. He's got 4 receivers to throw to on 3rd and 9. He'll drop with time, lots of time, but he throws it into traffic. Intercepted by Ken Elvis. And he's inside the 5. He will score!
Great play by the young man out of Demopolis, Alabama. Actually, he's playing because Otis Mounds tore up his knee. But a great play by Alvis. He had a couple of chances to make plays in the Ole Miss game. Didn't hang on, but this time he does hang on. Robinson leading the way. And he fights his way over the top there and all the way into the end zone.
A redshirt freshman from Demopolis, Alabama. War Eagle, the cry here now. The crowd has come alive. And that quickly, it's a touchdown difference. The first career interception by Ken Alvis. He'll remember it as long as he lives. And it could be one that leads his team back from getting beaten. 23-16, Auburn with the kickoff. Couple of yards deep in the end zone. It's Kevin Franklin, and he is wiped out at the 14. Hawkins took the kick that time, and the momentum has really swung on the 42-yard interception return. And Tim Foley, Jamie Howard threw this ball into some heavy traffic.
Oh, yeah. This is a ball that he would like back, and what a fantastic effort. Trying to get in the end zone. He runs over Howard, and he runs over a lineman, and there he gets in the end zone. The tackle on the kickoff was Crook and Colin combined for the tackle on the kickoff.
This crowd of 84,000 has gone insane. First down at the 14. Toomer. No, sir. Gary Walker. Tackle number 6 today. Robert Toomer ran the ball 6 times for 5 yards in the first half. 10 times in this half for almost 40 yards. But a loss or no gain that time. It'll be 2nd and 10.
LSU here getting a taste of what their opposition gets down in Baton Rouge.
Lots of noise. Up top, and his receiver was already out of bounds.
Well, you remember we talked about the out and up, right, Bob? McGee was coming underneath. They came back with it on the next series. Del McGee, of course, now did not take the angle, sat behind it, and jammed the receiver out of bounds.
Now a crucial play coming up for Curly Holman. A couple of minutes ago, his team was in control. The worst thing that could have happened to them did. A turnover for a quick touchdown by Auburn. 3rd and 10. Wilson, Kennison, and Besh, the wide men. A fake draw. Howard up the middle. Intercepted again! Fred Smith! And he will score!
On both wide receivers. Jamie Howard had threaded the needle so many times today, tried to do it again, but Fred Smith stepped in front.
And this game is tied. Fred Smith, all SEC 2 years ago, didn't play last year because of a knee injury. He is back.
Great protection by the LSU offensive line. Fred Smith running underneath that wide receiver, makes the catch and fights his way into the end zone. Howard tries to gut it in there. Robinson was there. Smith was there. And it just wasn't going to be. Fine catch by Fred Smith. And then the former freshman All-American, who's fighting his way back off knee surgery, makes a play. And this is why Auburn is 13-0. You never lose the faith. I mean, that's especially defensively. If things aren't going well on offense, by golly, you got to make something happen yourself. Now, this is like a truck rolling downhill on LSU right here. I mean, they're not in Baton Rouge now. They managed to hold off MSU last week when things went bad, but there's not as many friendlies here. As Bennett talks to Curley.
Yeah, this is not friendly fire.
And it's discouraging for Phil Bennett, too, the defensive coordinator. I mean, defensively, your guys are playing good.
And another Auburn kickoff. Eddie Kennison is back there. So is David Butler. Don't forget, Kennison can break it right back open. There's no way they're kicking to him.
Good decision by Auburn.
At the 21-yard line, Casey Howard to the near side. No return. Boy, they are fired up. Darrell Riggins is there. Jamie Williams is there on special teams. There he is, 13.
John Colin also in on that tackle.
A stunning turnaround by the Auburn Tigers. All on defense. I don't know if Bob Kessler can hear us, but Bob, we're coming down to you after the first play. I'm going to give you some advance notice.
Jermaine Sharp is back in the game.
11:02 remaining. Jermaine Sharp. His production has been non-existent lately. Let's get it downstairs to Bob Kessler.
Well, actually, we're in the middle of the Auburn Parent section. Debbie Robique, who is the mother of Shannon Robique, the Auburn center. You work at LSU, so this has been a tough day for you.
It has. It really has. I don't know. I thought to myself, I said, if we lose, it's no big deal. It's just, you know, another game. And I wasn't going to be upset, but now we might win, so I'm going to be upset.
You just broke your glass.
Second down and 10 at the 25. Howard intercepted twice in a row, and this time he's got Todd Bergs out there. Now that'll be a couple of yards short, Tim. They're going to have about 3.5 yards for the first down.
But a good idea by Jamie Howard. Throw the ball underneath. Throw the ball underneath. You know, sometimes it's like my son playing golf. You know, he thinks he wants to know how far you can hit your 8-iron. That's not really important. You know, it's not how far you can throw the ball on a line. Dump it off 5 yards. Let him run for 80. In the box score, it's still an 85-yard touchdown.
Third down and 3. Nice ball straight ahead to the tight end, David LaFleur. Who can tackle him? Not many. Down to about the 47. Brian Robinson, the free safety, he was hanging on for dear life, hoping for a little help from his friends.
And a good job by Jamie Howard again, coming back. Confidence displayed by Lynn Amity in calling a pass in this situation after what he's seen. But he pops the ball to LaFleur. Freddie Smith tries to knock it out. He runs through Elvis. And then finally Robinson corrals him, but good composure by Jamie Howard.
5'9" Fred Smith following 6'7" David LaFleur.
Well, Wayne Hall's got to be proud of his Chargers, who have scored 14 points here this afternoon.
First down at the 47. Sharp getting outside. He's got a first down. He's inside, or right at the 35 of Auburn. Chris Schelling, the corner, was required to make the tackle.
And he had to handle Brett Besh and make the tackle at the same time. Sharp can really fly, and he's been used sparingly since he fumbled a couple of times. Robinson misses, and Schelling makes the play. Good job defensively by Chris Schelling.
First down, LSU at the Auburn 33, 9:10 remaining. Sharp goes outside. He had an escort, the quarterback, but he left Jamie Howard to cut upfield and didn't get much. Jason Miska was there waiting with his 7th tackle from middle linebacker today.
And Miska's really a story. He's a walk-on here, paying his own way to school. He dressed out for a couple of games as a sophomore, but he's working at Subway, going to school, playing football, and then James Willis graduated. He comes in, wins a starting job, makes 125 tackles. What a story.
At 6'2", 218, he needs a few more BMTs in his belly.
Yeah, and I think 218 is an exaggeration. Now he's out in practice. He's got a Mad Dog tattoo in his arm. Now, and it goes all the way around, you know.
LSU has called timeout.
Which means that his arm just isn't quite big enough for the tattoo.
So Auburn uses its first timeout. Excuse me, LSU does. 23 all with 8:25 to go.
There's Lynn Amity on the right of your screen. Lynn has been an assistant at 10 different schools, 2 pro teams, and been a head coach once. And he is the one that has installed this offense here. And he's the tutor for Jamie Howard.
2nd and 9. Besh has it. Breaks a tackle. Now he's down to the 20, and that'll be a first down. Chris Schelling on the tackle, and you've got to give LSU credit. After the momentum just about crushed them, they've come back to put together a nice little drive.
And that's what's different about this LSU team this year. You know, they seem to disintegrate in the past when things got tough, but here there have been a couple times in the game when the momentum has changed and they have put together long drives. So got to feel good about that.
8 minutes to go. Franklin, nice cut upfield. And he's down to the 17, maybe the 16, before Jason Miska wrapped him up like he has so many others. Little help there from number 9, Ken Alvis, who's getting up.
And Tom Turner in there giving Sean Wells break.
Down to the 7.5-minute mark. It was 10-9 at the half. After 3, LSU led 29. They added a field goal for a 2-touchdown lead, and then Alvis and Smith with Auburn interception/touchdowns. This is a 2nd and 7. Franklin again to the short side. There's just not enough room for him out there, and Chris Schelling closes it down.
And the way these big defensive linemen run for Auburn, that's why there's not enough room there. I think LSU, from what I've seen, likes to run it back into the sideline, but these guys don't get hooked. They keep moving laterally and keep squeezing that down. You see Alonzo Etheridge, he's way out there for a big guy, and finally Schelling runs him out of bounds.
Alonzo 6'4", 260. The speedster Schelling able to close it out. It'll be 3rd and 4. LSU obviously is well within Andre LaFleur's field goal range. 3 wide receivers. Looking left, and he's got his man Burks. He is so reliable, and that's a first down inside the 10. Nice little out pattern by the 5'11" junior from Denham Springs.
And that's really hard to stop if you're Kenny Alvis, the strong safety. The ball is thrown right on time, a great throw. And once again, you got to congratulate Jamie Howard. You know, after sticking Auburn defensive backs in the chest with 2 balls in a row, he comes back here and he's doing a great job directing this drive here. He didn't let his confidence waver. He just got back in the saddle again and started riding down the road.
1st and goal from the 8. Toomer. If he could have kept his feet, he had a chance to score. Andre Miller kind of gave him a little side swipe there, and he just couldn't keep his balance.
So many emotional ups and downs in this football game. You know, I mean, I thought LSU's car was headed for the edge of the cliff. You know, 14 points, bam, bam, scored by the defense.
Well, they found the emergency brake somewhere along the line. And now they've got a chance to take the lead. 2nd and goal from the 8. What a ball game. About as crazy as the 4th quarter was here 2 years ago when these two got together. And Jamie was in the middle of it all. First man through. And that is the first carry of the year for Andre Guerin, the redshirt freshman fullback. who's also an original walk-on.
Right, and that'll surprise him.
A converted tight end. So is Alan Sanders, who backs him up. Those guys usually just block.
They always just block. And so that was a surprise, but a pleasant one for LSU because they picked up some territory there.
3rd and goal from the 5 coming up as the clock runs down to the 5:45 mark now. 23 all, 4th quarter. Alvis in the defense trying to keep him out of the end zone. Toomer, the lone back. Howard looking left. Nobody there. And he throws it away wisely. They'll settle for 3, at least attempt it. Looked like they were looking for something real quick, Tim, to the left side.
They were looking for Kennison. He ran a quick out into the sideline, and Howard just wasn't ready to throw the ball in time. By the time he collected himself, Schelling had closed, and so we got a field goal attempt by Andre LaFleur.
22-yard attempt. No real angle to worry about, and he's got it right down the middle. LSU has the lead back. That's a great drive. A clutch drive. And the big question now is, Auburn's defense couldn't get him any points. What's the offense going to do now?
Well, you know, now the offense has to produce something, and hopefully that's Chris Schelling. It may be a cramp. They can't do without him at the present time, although they do have Fred Smith backing up there. But both of these coaches have to be proud of the way their football teams have fought back.
We've got a note about the SEC championship game. The 41,000 tickets available to the general public have been sold. Now, the only tickets remaining for the game will be available exclusively through the 2 participating institutions. Both the East and Western Division champions will receive an allotment of 15,000 tickets. ABC will televise all the great activities surrounding the game, and we hope you're a part of it. But right now, all the general public tickets to the SEC football championship are sold out. Now you've got to root for your team to make it, so you can get in on that 15,000.
I walked over here from the hotel, which was 3 blocks. When I got here, my shirt was soaked, thoroughly soaked. It is humid here. It is muggy, and these folks have played hard all afternoon. This has been a long game. They have lost a lot of fluid, and this may become a factor here as Chris Schelling is down, and I'm sure he's got a cramp.
Gurley's team putting together a 13-play drive that ate up 70 yards. There's Damian Craig warming up here on this hot, muggy day on the plains. The fortunate thing is the rain has held off. There was a 70% forecast of rain for this afternoon. A 5-minute and 42-second drive by LSU to lead it 26-23. We've had 3 great ones in a row, haven't we? At Oxford, Tuscaloosa, here at Auburn. We go to Starkville next week to see the Tennessee Volunteers. They'll take on the Bulldogs of Jackie Sherrill. 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central on most of these SEC stations. Of course, Tennessee has to deal with Florida later today up at Neyland Stadium, and they've got the new real grass up there. Here's Chris Schelling coming off. Looks okay.
We got a great look today from our producer, Rob Reichley, and, of course, Tom Smith down there pushing the buttons as our director. Kim Anderson making sure we say everybody's right name. Well, that's for 13 years. Steve Johnson on statistics done a great job. Kurt Bloom making sure that everything is pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
What a team. What a team.
And the kick by Hurkamp. It's a short one at the 7. And it's Frank Sanders straight ahead. 26, maybe the 27-yard line. And let's not forget, Auburn's made the great comeback, but it's not been the offense doing it. It's been the defense. Damian Craig has replaced Patrick Nix. Last time we saw him out there it was still 23-9. So credit LSU with grabbing some of the momentum back. Auburn's got the football back with 5:20 remaining. Craig a bootleg, and his knee touched before Gabe Northern got there. Amy and Craig, and we mentioned how wet things are. It's a soggy turf. Patrick Nix can only watch.
Tried to go with the bootleg, tried to get Northern to bite on the toss and pursue down the line of scrimmage, but Gabe stayed right at home. They have to be concerned about Craig running with the football.
Second and 17. On the shotgun. He'll run it out to the left. And he's got Sanders open. Sanders just drove straight at Torrey James and then came back a few yards for the ball. That'll move it out to the 29. They've still got to get about 8 yards to move the chains.
Plenty of time left.
Not hard to spot those Bowdens, is it?
No, it isn't. Tommy talking away to Terry. There's the other side of the equation. Phil Bennett on defense for LSU.
He knows Auburn's 1 for 10 on 3rd down today. Craig had his arm hit. That's got to be an incomplete pass. Looked like his arm was moving forward. And Auburn will have to kick it away. And guess who got there?
I don't know. They're not letting go of the spot yet.
Gabe Northern.
Look out.
His arm was trying to pass. It looked like one official called it a fumble. The other called it incomplete. 3:56 to go, and LSU will get the football back. He wants everybody to come over and talk about it. And he's called a timeout to do it. He'll have 1 left. LSU about to get the ball back, and they lead by a field goal. Three minutes and 56 seconds to go at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. 8th punt of the day coming up for Terry Daniel. And guess who's back there? He'll hang it up high and long. Kennison backing up to his 12. Good coverage.
Big John Colin from the backside makes a tackle.
And Harold Morrow, the backup fullback, who's so active on special teams right there. And you had a good look there. Number 36 and 12. And here we go again. Auburn with the football. Excuse me, LSU with the football. And Tim, now they need to do just what they've been doing all day long. One of those time-consuming drives. Auburn has 2 timeouts remaining. They've been totally outgained in the second half because their defense has done all the scoring. They might be more dangerous offensively in this situation. Jamie Howard to Robert Toomer. And Mike Pelton's got his arms wrapped around it. Mike Pelton's been unbelievable so far this year. The senior out of Goshen, Alabama. Terry Bowden with that 13-game streak at stake.
What a way to start your career, right? Gee, 11-0. I imagine his dad is proud of him, but how'd you do that?
He figured if he could get past this game, things would be okay for a couple of weeks. He's got East Tennessee State and Kentucky coming in here. Kentucky just got destroyed by Florida last week. Here's a 2nd and 8 at the 17. Bootleg. Howard has to get rid of it. And he does out on the flank to Todd Burks, who takes the hit, stays in bounds, which is the main thing he wanted to do. And he's very close to the first down.
That's a gutsy call by LSU. A naked bootleg. Watch this now. Fakes the ball, coming by himself, back, Whitehead in his face, and he throws it all the way across the field to Burks. Anthony Harris hustling to get there, but they get the first down.
You see Burks make sure he got that knee down before he got to the sideline. That's smart.
Big, big play.
2:35 to go. First down of the 26. And the give to Franklin. And he, too, wanting to stay away from the sideline, cuts it upfield a bit. They get maybe 3. Chris Schelling from right the tackle, blocked the enemy of Auburn, and they've just called their second timeout. So Terry has one remaining with 2:14 to go. Curly Holman, we've mentioned he plays A&M every year. He was an All-Southwest Conference DB at A&M back in 1968. Big chance for the upset today.
Today's Lee Apparel SEC Game of the Week has been brought to you by Lee Apparel, maker of regular, relaxed, and easy-fit jeans and casual pants. Lee is the brand that fits. By Hardy, a proud sponsor of the Southeastern Conference. By Winn-Dixie, the low-price leader. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's knows home improvement. And by your local Mazda dealers.
Bob Carpenter, Tim Foley, Bob Kessling from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. It has been an epic early season SEC battle today. 10-9 at the half, 26-23 now LSU. Tigers have the ball, 2nd and 5 with 2:14 to go, and Auburn's got only one timeout remaining. Kennison motioning. Howard to Franklin. And as he turns the corner, he is popped by the shoulder pads of Chris Schelling. And now Auburn will call its final timeout with 2:06 to go.
Auburn sliding around. Miska, Mastella, Schelling comes in there and just socks him. He's a great cover guy and also a very physical tackler. I mean, you lose a fella like Fred Smith. There's not often times that you can replace him with somebody the quality of Chris Schelling.
They've got a great secondary. Del McGee over on that left side. Schelling on the right. Robinson and Mounds with Alvis in the middle. Mounds a little shaken up, and Ken Alvis with an interception return for a touchdown today. And of course Fred Smith trying to come back from that all-SEC season, a knee injury.
And they also lost Calvin Jackson, ineligible academically. And
Yeah.
he's down with the Dolphins, right, as far as that goes.
Yeah, he was only a sophomore. And let's get an update from downstairs. 3rd and 4 coming up, and here's Bob Kessler.
You talk about taking risks. Terry Bowden said he's not going to take many more risks this summer. Diving off a cliff at Chimney Rock on Lake Martin, he broke 3 ribs. He's not going to do that anymore, but his defense might have to take a risk right here.
3rd down and 4 at the 32. Howard with time into traffic. Intercepted. Brian Robertson. He will score. By the Auburn defense. Great job by the Auburn defense. Unbelievable. The defense in the secondary has done it again. And this time the extra point is good. And it's 30-26 Auburn with 1:55 remaining. A 3rd and 4. If LSU sits on the football and kicks it away, they got a great chance to win. Auburn has no timeouts left. A wobbly pass into traffic, and it was gone. Mike Pelton may have gotten a piece of it. And look at that escort, Tim.
Yeah, and I don't think they went with 5 defensive backs that time. You see Freddie Smith. I think I see Miska in there.
That looked like an aircraft carrier getting about 5 battleships to go alongside.
What a
right
play.
to Pater.
What a play.
30-26 Auburn with a minute 55. Now LSU has one timeout remaining. I bet Curly Holman never dreamed that he just wouldn't get a chance to kick the football away there. If you don't make the first down, you pin Auburn back. Now how will the ball be kicked? Eddie Kennison is standing on the near side at the 2.5-yard line.
I imagine they're going to do what they've done the whole game. They're going to try to pop it up over to Casey Howard. Fantastic job of defense. I've never seen anything like this in all the time I've been doing this.
4 defensive touchdowns, a fumble recovery, and 3 interceptions.
My goodness.
Casey Howard at the 30. Fights off a hit from behind. He's out to the 39-yard line. So LSU with a minute 48 to go. One timeout remaining. They are not dead yet, but the field goal has no use for Curly Holman. He's got to get 6.
But he's got some receivers that can cover some ground. In Eric Smith and Kennison and Shedrick Wilson. And you got Brett Besh.
Four wide receivers. They'll mark the ball short of the 40.
5 Auburn defensive backs.
Howard out to the right side, and Todd Burks is way up there to bring it down.
My goodness gracious.
He came down inbounds somehow. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. A minute 40 after the 24-yard reception. Todd Burks is having the game of his life today. He caught 1 pass last year.
And Jamie Howard sat right in there. Fireworks going off around him.
At the 35 of Auburn. He's in trouble. Straight ahead. He's got some room. At the 30, the 25. And that will be, it appears, enough for another first down. That would move the chains and stop the clock. According to where the ball is marked, he appears to have made it. The clock shows a minute 16. And now, they're so much closer in just a couple of plays. But again, remember, the field goal is not a factor here. Howard sits in there, up top. And it's a good thing he threw it away. Chris Schelling would have picked it off. Todd Burks got picked off early in the pattern.
And Jamie Howard, as did Patrick Nix, is taking a beating. Kennison is limping off the field. Barry Bowden is a minute and 5 seconds away from his 14th consecutive victory.
2nd down and 10 at the 25 with a minute 5 remaining. And he wants the timeout. That'll be their last one.
He needed a breath more than anything else. These guys have played a long, long game here. I mean, it's been a while, and it's a hot, muggy afternoon, and I'm surprised more people haven't been experiencing cramps. Miska, we're already at 3 hours and 40 minutes on this game. Miska spent 3 or 4 days in the hospital this summer during the preseason drills from dehydration.
The other guy working hard in the field is Bob Kessling.
You know, the 3 runbacks for touchdowns and the interceptions has sent the Auburn statistical crew scrambling. The school record for a season is 4, and they have 3 today. Now, the all-time record in the Southeastern Conference for touchdowns, returns on interceptions is 7 by Tennessee. That was back in '71. They think this might be an NCAA record for a single game. 3 touchdowns, interceptions, returned for scores.
And you'd think you'd have the game locked up at that point, right?
You would think so.
But you're still in the frying pan.
Second down and 10. Here they come. Up the middle. Intercepted! It's Brian Robinson again. He fumbles the ball. And will it stay in? LSU has a chance to recover. And it looks like one of their offensive linemen has grabbed it. Number 79 is Marcus Price. So LSU is not dead yet with 51 seconds to go. Oh, man.
Once again, fires it down the middle to Franklin. He was looking for a two-deep zone. It wasn't there. Great play by Shedrick Wilson. Extremely heads up. Brian Robinson had visions of pay dirt. And Wilson strips the ball, and they're still alive with 44 seconds left.
At the 46-yard line of Auburn. Howard up top. What a catch. Eric Smith. That'll move the chains. The clock is stopped momentarily with 29 seconds remaining. Nobody has timeouts left. All LSU can do is throw incompletions or move the chains to stop the clock. Now he goes long to the left side. And the ball is intercepted by Chris Schelling. His second of the day. And by goodness, that should do it for Auburn, but we're not sure. Unbelievable day by the LSU offense against this Auburn defense. 7 turnovers.
Good decision to throw the ball down this sideline. Schelling is experiencing leg cramps. You got a real speedster in Eric Smith who knows how to go up for the ball, but Schelling comes down with the big play, secures the victory for Auburn here as the clock ticks away at 10. 14 victories in a row for Terry Bowden. This has got to have been, well, besides the Alabama game, the most exciting.
Auburn wins it with incredible defense. 30-26. Curly Holman has got to be terribly disappointed. Maybe devastated would be a good word. They had the ball so much today, and they gave it up 7 different times. 14-0. It's one they'll remember for a long time on the plains of southeastern Alabama. We're back after this from your local SEC stations as Auburn wins it.